Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Let's not make this out to be if Bill comes and goes 8-4, we're going to build statues of him. That's what they are.
But like just to actually see him coach college and like I just schematically, what does he do?
I'm going to defend Bill in terms of his potential because I think he's smart enough to adapt to anything. I think if you hired him as CEO of Walmart, he'd be successful. So I think he would.
No, I think that's kind of a people business.
I was told that I said carry-on wrong. The bag, it's a carry-on
Not
bag.
Winston Churchill.
Not carry-on.
So a carry-on that you would carry on to an airplane is pronounced differently than carry-on.
Yeah.
Carry on my bag.
Are you going to bring your carry-on?
I feel
This is
like
my carry-on.
Thank you.
No,
I feel
no,
like
but-
I'm saying
but
these
wait,
two things the
but
same.
wait.
My carry-on. No, it's not my carry-on. It's my carry-on.
My carry-on bag.
Carry-on.
Listen,
Carry-on.
carry on.
Carry-on.
You put the emphasis on when
Right.
it's a verb.
My carry-on bag.
Yeah. But when
Again,
you
I'm
say
saying it the
but when
same
you
way.
say
on.
our is the same as are.
No,
No, those are two different
Is it
words
out- is
spelled
it-
differently,
is it
meaning
out-
different things.
is it-
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Wednesday here at Gillette Stadium, a very rainy Gillette Stadium.
Yeah.
We're getting Noah's Ark type rain today.
Yeah, we need it. You know.
Yeah.
At what
Do we?
point? Yeah, I was going to say at what point
Do we need
they
it?
got enough?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty
But it's
pretty
it's
wet.
fairly
Gonna
warm.
Practicing in the bubble
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Just heard from Jerod Mayo and some captains and Drake May.
Yeah.
Nothing earth-shattering. The typical bye-week fare. I was a little surprised. Drake May got asked a lot of questions about Belichick possibility to North Carolina, and I wasn't surprised that he was asked a question about it.
Yeah.
But it was like,
What was his answer? Because I didn't see it.
well, just obviously, Hall of Fame coach, and that's a great place. If he ends up in Chapel Hill, that'd be exciting, and they'll love him down there. He had
Yeah.
a good answer, but like people realize that it's certainly possible that he's never even met Bill Belichick.
Right.
It's not like he was his coach.
Right. Right.
So I just thought there was a lot of questions regarding specifically Belichick to North Carolina to Drake.
Yeah.
And then, other stuff. But, Hunter Henry talked, just about some things with the theme today, I would say, was trying to build some momentum, for the stretch drive. And it's important to win some games to get some sort of validity to what they're doing, why they're putting all this hard work in.
Yeah. So were you in the locker room at all a little bit?
No, they're going in the locker room right now.
Right now. So I was just wondering, I'll ask Evan and Deuce as well, but like, what is the mood coming back off the bye? Are guys energetic? Are they like, what is the mood?
Yeah, I didn't notice any difference with the three players. We talked to Henry, Wise, and Drake May.
Yeah.
Didn't notice really any mood,
Yeah.
no mood swings or anything like that. But I just feel like they understand that there's still something to play for here, even though they're eliminated from the playoffs, and there's value in trying to finish strong.
Yep. Do you think there's any value, speaking of value, of Jerod Mayo naming Drake May a captain for these final 4 games? Think any value in that?
I wasn't aware of it.
No, I didn't say. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to say that he did. Like if he did.
If it was real,
Yeah.
then I would say, yeah, there's value to that. If he did so much over the first 3 months of the season that you felt like you needed to name him a captain, I think that would be.
But, because we talk about, if anything, these final 4 games, could be like something to build a little momentum going into 2025. And obviously the best way to do that is win some games. But, playing better, the camaraderie
Yep.
of the team, the leadership of the team. And, you finish off this season, Drake May's our captain. He's a captain. I don't know. And then you go
like I
into,
said, if he earned it.
well, that's
If he earned the captain part of it.
Yeah, I don't believe he
Yeah.
would do it if he didn't feel he earned it. Not just to do it, but like he's done the things that
Yeah,
I believe.
I think there's value in that.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so this is a suggestion, Jerod, if you want to take it.
But now you're saying two different things. Like we're agreeing that like it has to be something that he's sort of
Yeah.
established himself, and now you're like, well, this is a suggestion, like as if he's done that. Has Drake May done that?
I think he has.
How do you know?
I think he has.
I would have no idea.
Okay.
If he's what he's doing with his teammates and in the
okay.
locker room and all
Let me
that stuff.
rephrase it then. If he has, I think he should name him a captain.
Okay. I mean,
I think it would help toward 2025. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I think there's value in that if that's something that he has just been such a great leader that you can't even wait till the end of the year. You have to do it now.
Yeah.
I think there'd be value in that. Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
So now I'll turn to Jerod again. If you believe he's done what you consider captain worthy, go ahead and name him now. It'll be good for these last 4 games. Now you can see.
Well, I mean, it'd be good for like Drake May and the Patriots in the future.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's basically. People ask the question, "What's this team's identity?" Drake May, really, right now, it's Drake May.
Yep.
So if he's pushing like you're talking about, that would be a really good sign for the future that you have a guy that gets it to that extent, and you recognize it, and he's a leader, and they're gonna follow him.
So this made me think of another thing, because you just said something that made me think about this. The identity probably is Drake May, and I think you could make the case that on every team that had a great quarterback, the identity of the team was the quarterback. Go back to Joe Namath, the identity of John Elway, all these great quarterbacks, with maybe the exception that in the early days, the identity of this team, even with Brady, was at least co-identity was Belichick.
Yeah,
and that might have been an exception.
The first part of the dynasty was defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that would be
even
accurate.
And we're not saying that Brady wasn't great.
I mean,
that
like
first half.
Pittsburgh's identity was defense, the steel curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always the quarterback, but
that's true.
Generally,
I would
is.
say, but even then, like Terry Bradshaw wasn't as great as these guys.
No, but he's a Hall of Fame quarterback who won. Be. Of course, he should be. He won 4 Super Bowls.
I don't care. The defense won those Super Bowls. He shouldn't be a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Okay.
But anyway,
it's just a different. It's just a different.
The
time.
Steelers' identity wasn't. I don't think Terry
a great
Bradshaw.
long ball
the
passer.
Steelers, to me, the Steelers.
No, the
was
identity of those
Green
Steelers teams with the
Jack
steel curtain
Ham and all that. Yeah,
that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that more so than like just the quarterback, it's offense. Like the Niners, it was like the West Coast offense.
Yeah.
With Bill Walsh and Montana.
Steve
and,
Young.
and then it carried on with Steve Young. Like I think right now it's not really like an offensive. It's not the offense.
But you look around
it's
the
not
league,
a system. It's Drake May.
Kansas City's Mahomes. The Bills are Josh Allen. The Bengals are Joe Burrow. If you're a great quarterback, the identity of the team, you take on that identity, right? Right? Or you create that.
I agree,
identity.
but their offense, they're like Kansas City would be an exception now, but the other two that you mentioned, Cincinnati and Buffalo, it's offense.
Yeah.
Their offenses are great.
Yeah.
This isn't a great offense.
No.
But the identity is Drake May.
Yeah.
Because he's the only thing they have going for them right now, going into the future.
Yeah.
So it's a little different.
Yeah.
It's a little different to have a young guy like that.
Yeah. Be the identities.
Yeah. And then, I mean, number 2 is Gonzalez, who's a second-year guy.
Yeah.
So.
But he's such a soft-spoken guy.
But it's just a little odd
Yeah.
to have, nothing to really say. Well, what are you good at? What can you hang your hat on?
Right.
Nothing really. They're not exceptionally good offensively or defensively.
Well, and that's the problem with teams that aren't good. They lack an identity because they're not good. And so Jerod Mayo gets criticized because he says it's probably going to be more than a year before I can establish a culture here, / identity, which I think he's just being honest. Until you start winning, you're searching for an identity. You're searching for that culture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. It's hard because they just I don't think, my opinion, they just don't have the horses to do it.
Yeah. So, you look around the league and you look at the bottom feeders, the Panthers, us, the Raiders, the Giants. Right now, these are all teams probably without identities.
Yep. I would agree with that.
Yeah. So, with winning comes your identity and, cures everything that's going on with your team. So, That's what we need to get back to.
It's not going to be easy. You didn't brighten my mood.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
No, but I think it goes back to the conversation of if Drake May, you feel he's got those leadership qualities, let's do it now. Make him the captain now. Finish the season with him as your captain.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can't force it though.
No.
You can't force it. If it's deserved,
and that's the big caveat.
That's fine.
It's deserved. That's the caveat. It internally, we have no idea.
I'm with you. I mean, like if that's something that he's pressing for, that'd be a great development.
Yeah. So okay, see what your thoughts on that.
But even big picture identity, is different because I agree with you. None of those bad teams have a big picture identity. But I would say like right now, the Giants are just a mess. Their identity is sort of sloppiness, incompetence. Like
right.
Dallas is injuries.
Yeah.
Carolina's identity right now is they're becoming
they're starting to get it.
They're becoming a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
That's kind of their identity.
Yeah.
Is they're not that good. I mean, it might be the worst roster in football. We've talked about this during the course of the year. They've sold off a lot of parts over the last 2 years. So they're not coming from a very talented group, but you look at them in the way they've played the last 5 weeks. They won a couple of games over teams that are like them in New Orleans and the Giants.
Yep.
Then they take Kansas City to the buzzer. They lose in overtime to Tampa Bay in a game they probably should have won. They were in field goal range in overtime when they fumbled. And then they lose when their rookie receiver can't quite hold on to a potential go-ahead touchdown in the last minute to Philadelphia,
right,
who's playing as well as anybody in football right now in Philadelphia.
They're that team.
So their identity right now is that.
Yeah.
The team that none of the good teams really want to face down the stretch because they're scrappy.
Yep. And like you said, Cowboys' identity is kind of like good talent.
Lost year.
Yeah.
The injuries killed them.
But over the course of like the last 20 years, talented team that can never do it in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And they earn that. They earn that identity.
Yeah. So and that's like a big picture identity.
Yeah.
If you're going like year to year, like Chicago's identity, like they lost the coach, then the quarterback is kind of trying to learn by himself because he has no guidance. That and it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Like, what is the Patriots' identity?
Well, if you're going to talk about it in those terms, the identity that's your perception right now is the perception of your team is your identity right now, and the perception of the team is it's not a well-coached team. That's what people are saying, and why they're not doing well is because I think it's and honestly it has to do with their roster as well. But I think
of course.
I think the perception out there that's being given to the Patriots has to do with leadership.
Yeah, and one of the things that I know that bugged you yesterday because you mentioned it about the Greg Bedard stuff that was circulating, and I'm like I said I can't read that stuff, so I don't know exactly what he wrote.
Well, he was on your show he talked about.
Yeah, but I wasn't there, so I didn't.
I know, but Felger,
I'm here working.
It's on your internet.
It's on my internet.
Felger had a whole segment where all he did was ask him about that report and pepper him with questions about the report.
Yeah, so there was a question. Karen Guregian asked Jerod a question I took from that about on that topic based on and I think she asked, do you feel like you're being evaluated in these last 4 games? I think that's how she asked it, and he just said, we're all being evaluated.
Good question.
That was that.
But he should say
it wasn't. Are you coaching for your job? It wasn't like this big gotcha kind of question.
She said it the right way.
Solid professional reporter question.
Yep.
And he answered it, I think, the right way. We're all being evaluated.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
No long, windy answer, just straight to the point. But the straight to the point part kind of struck me because my guess is he was like you and kind of annoyed with all that noise yesterday.
Yeah.
That you're talking about.
If I'm reading the Bedard report and I'm assuming it's all true, who are these people in the organization that are saying this stuff? Because he cites several people within the organization.
Right.
Who the hell is he talking about?
Right. It's like, and I know we don't want to take this into a Red Sox thing, but I don't know if you've been paying attention to any of this free agent stuff.
I know the Red Sox didn't get any.
No, well, supposedly they're interested in getting Alex Bregman.
Yep.
And now there's a story that Sean McAdam, another well-respected reporter, longtime Red Sox guy, says that Sam Kennedy and Alex Cora are in favor of it, but Craig Breslow, the new GM, is not. Well, I don't think he's making that up. Someone's telling him that.
Yep.
Why would someone tell somebody, someone outside the organization, that people are split in the organization?
Unless he's talked to all three and they told him themselves.
Yeah,
But
I just it's just bad to not appear to be on the same page.
Yeah, who are these? I don't know. It's just not good. It's not good to have this type of back
Bruins
channel.
lost 8-1. It's not been good. It's not good right now. Not good.
Yeah, it's this back channel stuff.
Still got the Celtics.
And listen, do
Not good, Bob.
I think Mayo's being evaluated? Absolutely. Of course he is. Of course he is. Everybody on the squad is being evaluated. Coaches, players,
Yeah.
front office,
Yeah. Now,
everything.
I think that based on what you're talking about, Bedard is saying more than they're being evaluated.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
But like I said, I might have said it on the show or I don't think it's a headline that if Robert Kraft comes to the realization that he made the wrong choice, that he wouldn't hesitate.
But you're telling me the stuff that Bedard said yesterday was, if they don't play well down the stretch, he could go.
No.
That's what's on Twitter. I said, I
No,
didn't
I
read it
think-
because I can't read behind the
Because
paywall.
I think, to me, that's taking it to the next step. That's not what Bedard's necessarily saying.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's the way it's being written
I know,
about.
I know.
He said if they get blown out
Oh.
down the stretch and they don't play well,
Well,
he
now
could
that's
go-
different.
He could go.
That's
Now,
different.
he didn't say he would go. He said
Right.
he could
He
go.
could go. He could go. Listen, anything can happen. I don't think. I'm
I don't think
I'm
this
here to
is-
tell you, Jerod Mayo is going to be the head coach of the Patriots in 2025.
Yeah, I'm not as strong as you, but I feel similar. I'm just not willing to say this is what's going to happen.
But at the same time, yes, he is being evaluated, just like every position coach is, every coordinator is.
Well, if he has no
front
chance to
office.
go, what's the evaluation?
Because it's all part of the picture. After 2 years, you don't throw away it's all part of the overall evaluation. Everybody gets evaluated every year. How'd you do?
But the evaluation.
Where do you need to improve? Like, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses after 1 year? What do you need to work on?
So this is nothing different then. This is just
Right.
regular.
Right.
So you're not putting any stock in this report at all.
No,
Okay.
not really. No.
I'm kind of with you.
Yeah,
I just wanted to see if I could start an argument. I couldn't because
Now
I'm
you say,
with you.
every after 10 years, I don't think Belichick got evaluated every year.
No, but
okay?
everything you do
yeah.
is evaluated. But
Yes.
but
wanna
Bedard is saying it's
improve.
evaluated as his job security. You're saying it's just evaluation.
Yes.
And I kind of agree with you. I don't think there's more than a 1% chance that he's not the coach next year.
Right.
I really don't.
Right.
I don't like to say zero because every time I do, I end up with my foot in my mouth.
Right. Yeah. So it is what it is. I think you can take a statement and turn it into this whole thing, which is I think what happened. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I thought that Jerod's answer was the right answer. No need to get into these long defensive kind of,
Yeah.
please. No, we're all being evaluated.
We're all being evaluated.
Always.
Yep.
And that's the way you should take it.
Absolutely.
No one should be too comfortable,
Yep.
especially you.
Don't
get too comfortable.
I'm on a hot seat, Paul.
No.
I don't know if you knew that, but I'm on the hot seat.
You're on the coolest of seats.
I don't know about that. I'm on the
You
hot
can't
seat.
go anywhere.
My age, my contract,
I mean,
even though I don't have one.
we all know based on. No, never mind.
Yeah.
I was going to say something that would have gotten me in trouble.
Yeah.
So.
But no, I feel the heat. I
Oh,
feel
well,
the heat.
it's good to feel the heat.
Yeah.
Not really. Keeps me
855
up at night.
855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Podcasts at patriots.com is the email address. And I just want to remind everyone that you need to agree to the
Carry
thing.
on.
Yeah, you need to agree to the thing that you got on your bounce back when you email the show.
Oh, yes.
In order to continue getting the newsletter. So, I haven't heard from Alex on what she's got cooking for this week, but I'm sure it's pretty good.
No, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Tough coming off the bye.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Belichick talk yesterday.
Yeah.
Although we we definitely put that aside when you had to leave, when
Yeah.
you had to go to your meeting.
Yeah.
I was like, Fred's not here to save us, so we're going to move on from the Belichick
Have we heard
stuff.
anything lately on that?
So I have some thoughts.
Yeah.
There was something early this morning. I heard some TV station was reporting that North Carolina had offered him the job. This coming on the heels of the reports yesterday that said that Belichick had informed North Carolina that he would accept the job,
Yep.
under his parameters, which
Yep.
include evidently a 400-page manifesto.
Right.
However, I'm starting to think it's all kind of a
ruse.
I don't. It kind of sounds like it's going to happen, so maybe it will. But I'm wondering, to me, this all reeks of everything that all the information that we've learned has come from the Belichick side, because I don't see what's in it for North Carolina. And based on Mike Lombardi's, comments and whatnot, I think that what Bill might be doing is what everybody's talking about. Making it known to the NFL, if you want me, contact me now, or I'm going to take this job.
Right.
And he's going to make it look like they offered me the job.
Right.
But I didn't take it because
Right.
I wanted to coach in the NFL.
Right.
Just in case. Because I don't see why North Carolina would have said, oh, yeah, we offered. There was a report yesterday that he said he would take the job.
Well,
so if you're offering the job,
but I do think
what's the holdup?
I do think the romance might be real in that it's an opening, and I haven't heard of any other candidates that North Carolina's talking to. Don't you think that would get out?
Well, they've had a couple that turned them down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, then I stand corrected.
Yeah. I forget.
So people have turned down the job that Belichick is going. Oh, yeah. This is not good.
I forget now. There was one in particular that it was
A name?
a well-known guy. Arthur Smith.
Oh, okay.
Arthur Smith is a North Carolina guy, and he said he had no interest.
Okay.
That was the one guy I was thinking of. But I think there's two guys that have been sort of North Carolina went to them.
Yep.
And they said, no, thanks, but no thanks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Job nobody wants except one person.
I think there's a chance that this has been blown up for Bill's benefit. That's all I'm saying. A chance. I'm not saying that this is all fake. I think they are meeting. I think the stuff I think he has talked to people.
So if you're an NFL team and you hear this story about this 400-page manifesto or Bible or whatever you want to call it, that I heard that he had and he
updated it with North Carolina
updated
stuff.
it for
Obviously,
North Carolina.
he didn't write it.
Right. So any NFL team now is thinking, if we go with this guy, there's going to be major upheaval.
Right.
Do we want that?
Right. And that's why, people are like, oh, he's letting everybody know that he means business, and he's still, at 72, he's still, a viable. I'm like, I think it's the opposite. I think he's letting everybody know he's every bit as set in his ways as he's always been. He's not willing to change for anything. He's prepared. We all know that. He's as detail-oriented a coach as we've ever seen. That's how he's won all these games. That's why he only needs 15 wins to become the all-time winningest coach.
Right.
Is because of this.
Right.
Because he has a dossier for every occasion.
Yep.
I think that the reason that some teams weren't really interested is because he doesn't play well with others.
Well, certainly that's what Atlanta turned him down
Right.
for, because John McKay was afraid
And as
for
far
his job.
as far as I know, Rich, but as far as I know,
Who's
there was
John McKay?
his father.
Oh.
Nobody else interviewed him, right? I think Atlanta was the only team that interviewed him last year.
Yeah.
So now you're getting all this stuff. Lombardi's telling you how much better the college jobs are than the pro jobs, and that these dorky sons of owners that run the analytics department, Tony Khan. Is this because that no one's reached out to him?
Yeah.
And that if they do reach out to him, they're not willing to just hand the keys to the entire organization over to him?
Right. Yeah.
I think this is where Bill is right now. I think he's a little desperate. And I think this is a kind of a whole kind of a concerted effort with with thought, when they're linked. When have you ever seen Belichick involved with anything in the media?
Well, it's all new, Paul.
But without it being fact.
Right.
Like,
well, that's why I think this might happen.
oh, I think it could happen.
Yeah.
because I think he'll have no options.
Yeah, because he wasn't on Pat McAfee saying, "Yeah, you can't believe everything you read, Pat." He's not denying any of this.
But this is my point.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
know.
all part of a ruse. I think it's.
I don't think it's a ruse.
I think he wants everybody to think he's taking this job, and he wants the NFL teams to say, "Okay, if we don't, we can't wait till the end of the year like we were gonna. If we want to talk to him, we got to reach out to him now." And if they don't, then he might take the job, realizing I don't have any options. This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not a possibility.
Yeah.
I'm saying he doesn't really want this.
So if he turns down this job,
he can't want this. He wants to be in the NFL, Fred.
if he turns down this job this week, does that mean?
Well,
that,
I don't think we have to see if it's offered too. I'm not buying the whole.
But
offered
if he
part.
pulls out, let's say he pulls out of this job this week, does that mean a team from the NFL has reached out to him and said, "Hey, hold on, we can't do it obviously now, but
I think that's what he's going to lead you to believe.
yeah."
But he, first
In
of
other
all,
words, would the only reason he pulls out of this is because there's another job at the NFL waiting?
well, no, because the other possibility could be that North Carolina is doing this to help him, and they're not good. They're not really offering him the job.
Why would they want to help him? What's in it for him? All they're doing is
Publicity. They've gotten it.
I know, but they're holding up
Bill
the process.
Belichick-
They need to find a coach.
But Bill Belichick's interested in the North Carolina job. Maybe I should, if I'm Arthur Smith, maybe I should rethink that.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. Yeah.
There's something in it for North Carolina. They've gotten more talk about North Carolina football in the last 5 days than they've had in the last 5 years.
True. Well,
Right?
a lot of it's not good, but
No, a lot of people are taking shots at the
Right,
program, which
right.
I think are a little unfair. I mean, it's a middling program.
Yeah.
It's not a blue blood.
Right.
We can all agree on that.
Sure.
But it's sort of an upper tier ACC program.
Yeah.
It's not one of the bottom dwellers
not
in
a-
the ACC.
Is there good examples of Division I schools where they're powerhouses in both football and basketball? Michigan, maybe?
Yeah, Michigan is usually the answer to that question, like as a
Yeah.
team that can win the national title in all sports.
Yep.
But that's kind of a niche because not everybody has hockey. But Michigan would be one. Texas, Alabama, those teams are pretty
Okay,
good.
yeah.
And, Florida has been. Florida won national titles at the same time, I think, in both.
That's true.
With
Okay.
Tebow,
Yeah.
they probably weren't as good in football when they won the national title in basketball.
Is that
but
going to become less? Are teams going to be less able to do that now with the NILs? Because you're spending so much money in one sport or another.
Well, I think you have different collectives for the different sports.
Yeah.
It's not just athletics.
I thought-
Now, they do have athletic NIL. Like, these schools do have it, but you can have it in football. You can have, there's, as an example, Andrew Luck recently was named the GM of Stanford football, right?
Yep.
So he's probably going to be heavily involved in their NIL and their collective for football. Adrian Wojnarowski, who
Right.
left ESPN
Yep.
as their sort of Adam Schefter of the NBA, went to St. Bonaventure, which is his alma mater, to
right.
be the basketball GM.
Yep.
So my guess is he's going to do similar kind of stuff
So
for just the basketball
so
program.
that reminded me of something.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. That reminds me of something I wanted to ask you about the Belichick.
Should I be the GM of Northeastern
No.
basketball?
Well, you should, but the Belichick Bible reportedly included 2 staffs, one that Belichick would oversee for coaching,
I think I know where you're going.
and then a
Recruiting.
recruiting staff with
Right.
a sitting GM who has a buyout.
Who needs a buyout.
Right. So
I think that's Bears.
you think it's
I
Bears?
think he's talking about Bears Jarian, who used to be his right-hand man
So in other
here.
words-
Obviously, he's at Boston College
Right,
now.
so-
he'd need a buyout.
So Bill already knows who he wants for that job, and that person's going to need to be bought out from his current
That's how
job.
I took that.
Right.
That's how I
did
took
too.
that wording yesterday.
It's-
No one talked about it.
because
on
somebody
the
else
radio.
told me, no. He's saying that it would be such a contract such that if they wanted to get rid of the GM, you'd have
They'd
to
have to buy him out. I didn't take it that way.
I didn't either. I think he already has the person.
I heard
and
Fred,
the-
I think, say that
yeah,
this morning.
and the person's going to need to be bought out to get
or
him here.
Wallach. I think John might have said it
Yeah.
that way this morning. I took it as this is the guy. I need Fred Kirsch, and in order to get Fred Kirsch, we're going to have to buy him out of his Patriots contract.
Right.
That's how I took
And that's
it. And
why,
I think he's talking about Bears.
And that's why he used the word sitting GM. But Bears isn't a GM.
He's not considered a GM, but I believe that he is that guy for Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
He's handling the NIL. He's all that kind of stuff. Listen, this is a new landscape.
Oh, yeah.
People are figuring some of this stuff out on the fly. It's new to everybody, even the big schools. You know, I think this is the biggest reason that Saban decided enough is enough. I think Krzyzewski was kind of similar with the portal and everything going on, and he saw the landscape going, and he stepped down. It's funny, when they can't cheat, when they can't cheat by themselves, they don't want to share, so they just say, I'm
right.
out.
When they don't have the advantage,
Right.
It's, even playing field, right? So,
But I do think that, I don't think even the teams themselves, even these blue blood schools, I don't think they have all the answers yet.
No.
As to how the best way to do these things
Did I hear
is.
there was like a $20 million cap on that?
Something like that is coming, yeah.
So that's Charlie
Baker,
head of NCAA,
because
doing that?
right, I mean, the way it is right now, it's almost lawlessness.
Right.
What's the kid? I don't know if you saw this story, but the number one rated basketball prospect in the country is a Massachusetts kid, a kid from Brockton, AJ Dabansa, I think is how you pronounce his name. He announced that he's going to BYU yesterday.
Yeah.
And someone said he's getting like $7 million.
Well, like Bill Gates, I don't think he graduated from college, but if he did, somebody like a Bill Gates could come in and like just fund the whole program.
You think we're going to be pretty good?
Yeah.
With Phil Knight being able to do that?
Exactly. So
that's where you're going.
There has to be a limit.
Right.
And
that, like, unfortunately, that's where you're going.
Yeah. Yep. All right. 855-PATS-500 is the TPX hotline.
What do you think that would have been worth in NIL?
Podcast at Patriots.com. What?
What do you think that would have been worth for my NIL?
Are you talking
baseball?
$1980 or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously we adjust for inflation.
Just for inflation, I'd say at least $50. Yeah.
Seems high. I used to get $5 in meal money. Seems high.
All right. Let's get to the phones.
I would give anything to play as Paul Perillo in an NCAA video game.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't get a lot of guys out.
Deuce and Evan will be joining us after their locker room and practice duties end. So in the meantime, let's get some of these calls and emails in. We'll start with Fidel in Tampa. What's up, Fidel?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. I actually had two little things. I've been down on Mayo hire since the beginning, ever since that press conference. And it's funny, we haven't heard Mayo call Kraft Thunder since. But I actually think that he won't be fired from the team and exiled. I think he could possibly be promoted like they did with Bruce Arians or Pete Carroll, and brought into the front office or into the more corporate side of it, than him just being terminated from the team and then possibly hiring an outside guy.
Okay.
Because the entire process to me didn't feel like an actual search, more than just and I know they had that in the contract from a year ago, but I still don't think it was the right decision at the time.
So in other words,
and then
not to just throw him out on the street, because it was no fault of his own that he was hired the way he was hired, but you elevate him, and then
I just don't see why
Yeah.
Mayo would want to do that.
And then my other
Right.
and my other thing was, any news on the Tom Brady statue?
Any news on the Tom
Because
Brady
I'm going to be at
statue?
the Chargers game. I would love to see it.
It's a good question. I know it all has to do with scheduling.
Yeah, it's not going to be at the Chargers game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're trying to figure out when they can get Tom back here.
I think it's probably going to be an off-season event, probably another unveiling or something like that. Yeah. But
all right. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's unfortunately, Fidel, there's no news on it. We haven't. I know that there was some thought before the season started that Brady would be here as part of the Fox broadcast team for, I think, the Miami game. And then it turned out that Tua got hurt. That game obviously lost any luster. And he wasn't. There wasn't the Fox A team
right
here, and Brady has not been back to my knowledge, since Brady night.
Yeah, it's
in
just
last
been
June.
they haven't been able to coordinate the schedules. But I think the easiest way is you do it in the off season. But I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, be interesting.
Yeah. All right, let's get to some emails. Hold on for a second. Let me get.
Well, he's got to move.
Yeah, it's easier if I bring this to me than leaning forward. We do have a lot of emails, and I appreciate
That's great.
that.
You should read some.
Yeah. Let's start with Steve. He's got some off-season thoughts. Oh, bye-week thoughts. I'm sorry. He said,
we're not quite there yet.
yeah, he's got 4 points.
Okay.
First, Spee stole my point yesterday, but when I heard the read for carry-on, I assumed it was carrion. You know, like a carrion, like a dead meat.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
2, if Fred wants Paul to have different clothes, shouldn't he be providing a clothing allowance to his employees?
Just a salary of any sort.
I mean, do you want Patriots stuff? Because you don't like wearing Patriots stuff.
I have a lot of.
I'll get you Patriots stuff.
I have a lot of Patriot stuff, but is that a requirement now?
No, it's
because that's
not.
always been sort of frowned upon. Like when we're on.
No, that's on the preseason game, right?
Well, in the preseason game, I have to wear that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't mind. I don't mind wearing Patriot. I wear
If
a
you
lot
want
of Patriot
stuff, I can get you Patriot
No,
stuff.
I do not want Patriot stuff. Although I could use a couple of Christmas gifts for other people.
Well, that's not the
You
spirit
can-
of it.
You can arrange that.
Yeah. 3, when is Mike dropping his "I Love You" Drake music video?
Yeah.
No?
That should be in the offing. Mike has been more in touch with his musical side lately. Would you agree, Matt?
I have noticed that.
Can't hear
We
you.
can't. There you go.
I have noticed that.
Okay. So, I think that could be coming.
Okay. And finally, I was listening to someone talk the other day about team identity. We heard about
Wow.
it today. And how it matches the coach. Dan Campbell was the example. I thought about the Patriots, how Mike and others have decried their lack of team identity. Could it be that the Patriots do have an identity that mirrors their coach? Mayo seems to present himself as very corporate, and the team feels very corporate also, in a bland, monolithic, we regret the error and want you to know that we are working diligently to correct the issue, cable company kind of way.
Oh.
Someone
Seemed awfully specific.
Someone somewhere is accountable, but they'll have to form a committee to workshop it. Be safe and cautious and protect the brand. I'm probably taking the analogy too far, so just a thought. It's not.
No, I don't think it's a bad.
I think it's not a bad take.
I just think that what Fred said earlier in the show about this is probably accurate. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
You can't snap your fingers and just say, well, this is what we're going to be.
When you
And-
lose, your identity is given to you. When you win, you create
Right.
it.
And I will say this, like, because not to sound all Jerod Mayo, I will say this. Detroit, okay, it's a great example right now of a team that really does take on the identity of its coach, right?
Yep.
But the first year of Dan Campbell, the identity of the coach was kind of a clown show.
Right.
You know, so you have to kind of win before you can get any kind of positive identities.
Yep.
You know, whether they're tied to your coach or not. But I understand what his comparison of Mayo and a kind of a corporate approach, because I do think that he does have a lot of jargon, corporate jargon that he uses. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I think he tries to, instill in the team and whatnot. That doesn't mean it can't be successful, by the way. I just think that's his approach.
Let's see. Well, speaking of Spee,
Speak.
the Patriots' big picture identity is the team that used to have Brady and Belichick. Anyway, if you had to
Yeah,
choose,
probably right about that.
would you prefer for the Patriots to build on existing strengths, such as finding another talented cornerback to complement Gonzalez, or to improve position groups that are generally weak, such as offensive line? Improving the weakest groups makes most sense to me, because there's so many, but maybe there's an argument for maxing out specific positions so there's something other than Drake to lean on in tough situations. Wonder what the Wolfman would do.
If this is, you're talking about, what would you rather do?
Like just make cornerback a position of strength on this team, or work on the weakers.
But so I have to choose between players at different positions that are exactly the same. I'd probably go offensive line
Yeah.
because they need more help. But it doesn't work like that, as you know. There's always a difference between players. They're never equal. And I think that's the benefit of where you are. And I've said this a million times, and I believe it. I just feel like it's the one benefit of being a 3-win team is that you can literally take anything because you have needs everywhere.
Yep.
If the cornerback is a better player than the offensive lineman, take the cornerback. And now you have 2 good cornerbacks, hopefully.
Phil is in North Carolina.
By the way, Field Yates, I
Yeah.
believe, came out with a mock draft today where he had Travis Hunter
Okay.
to the Patriots.
All right. Interesting.
Speaking of cornerback.
Phil in North Carolina, who
Phil.
I remember, when Drake May was.
Is he the one that doesn't like Drake May? Or
No,
does?
but he was
because most of the
emailing
North Carolina guys do
Yeah.
not like Drake May.
But he might or might not have an inside connection, but he's saying that the Board of Trustees is meeting to approve the deal set for today. Announcement is being prepared.
Yeah, I think that there's a chance that he's going to end up taking it because no one in the NFL has any interest. That's my feeling. I
2
think he'd
hours
rather
ago,
coach
Diana
than-
Rossini
than
is
not.
saying that it's a done deal.
But thanks for the update, Phil, because
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you may have some,
Yeah, he might.
maybe one of those trustees.
He's at least in the right state.
Yeah.
So it's closer than we are. Eric from Lakeville says, after listening to yesterday's show, I have 2 questions for Paul. One, who is R.A.?
RA is Fred's nickname for Sean McDermott.
It's not. It's Felger's nickname.
Oh, I think you came up with it first. I think he stole it from you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. He might have.
Yeah, he's got the red A. You know, I don't want to.
He's got a
I
red
used that
ass.
word
You can
already.
say
today.
it.
All right, right. He's got the red ass. R.A. McDermott. That's what Fred has
Yeah.
always called him, and it's a good nickname. It's apt.
Well, it came after the win game.
I think it came before that when he got in the sort of the pregame argument with, I think, Steve Belichick, who was lingering on our sideline in pregame warmups. I mean, on Buffalo's.
Oh.
Like in the middle of Buffalo, and they're like, "Get out of here!" And he was like, "All."
Right.
He gets wound up too tight when he played the. He doesn't anymore, but he used to
Right.
get wound
He
up
used
too
to get
tight
wound up.
when he played the Patriots.
And then 2, when Mike Lombardi was with the Patriots, did he pee in your Cheerios every day, or was it just every other day? So in other words,
No,
why?
I had one conversation with Mike Lombardi, and it was not actually here. It was when it was at the Combine. Andy and I shared an elevator with us, and he said about 4 or 5 of the most ridiculous things that I'm not going to repeat because he didn't say those to us knowing we were reporting it. So he's been a guy, listen, he's a loyal guy to Bill. There's an admirable quality to loyalty. Like, I'm not suggesting that. I think there's a fine line between being loyal and being sort of, a storyteller. And I think that he crosses it.
Yeah. He also says, P.S. I've emailed podcast@patriots.com several times and still have not gotten the newsletter. So, Eric, if you will do me a favor, email us back. Let me know that you got the bounce back email from emailing that and that you signed up that way. Also, if you've emailed in the past, obviously you have, check your spam or your junk mail. Just do me that favor as well. But also let me know if you got the bounce back email. Deuce is here. He's back from...
Look who's back from the locker room. What was the mood? Were the players friendly? Too bad none of them looked like Derrick Henry. Hey Mike, what was it like in the locker room? Hey Mike, what was it like in the locker room?
So, Mike,
Like Taylor Swift.
guys are back from the bye.
They are.
How would you describe the mood?
Quiet, I would say. Not in a bad way. It just seemed like everybody's kind of getting back into the flow of it right now, getting ready for practice. I walked out, though, as I was coming down the hall here. I was in back of Cole Strange, who had his shoulder pads on. I know it's a big day for him, getting back out there and finally having a padded practice. So some conversation about that. And, yeah, in the locker room, I'm sure you guys have been talking about Bill. Lots of questions about Bill. Kendrick Bourne hit on, exactly what we talked about yesterday, where he was like, yeah, I mean, Bill's tough, man. I just say don't miss class. That was Kendrick Bourne's message. Which,
Don't miss practice.
yeah, don't miss practice for sure. That
I don't
too.
think he cares much about class.
Well, I don't know. Do you think he might be asking guys about their grades? Hey, I heard
As long as they're eligible.
I heard you missed that paper.
Tony's flunking TV. What's that a line from?
Yeah. What? Oh, sorry.
Tony's flunking TV.
I don't know.
Blue chips, come on.
I don't know that blue chips.
Can't do all this for
sorry.
you. I knew Fred wouldn't know, but
I
I expected more out of you.
But otherwise, just talking about the last 4 games, getting focused on those, and Daniel Aquale saying I'm a free agent, so a lot of guys here. We know we're out of the playoffs, but it's about putting good tape out there and competing, and so we'll see. I mean, I think the last couple of years you've heard some of this stuff, and it gets hard, I think, to really go above and beyond. And I think I'm waiting today for your point yesterday, Paul, which I thought was a good one about the injury report. See who's on there and who's battling stuff, and is everybody going to be able to go? And
coming off the bye, it should be less of an issue, but we'll see.
Yeah,
how many of these guys do you think have like roster bonuses that come into play now that they could be thinking about?
Yeah,
probably some.
Yeah, for sure.
Active.
Yeah,
active per game roster bonuses.
I'd wonder about Jonathan Jones with that. I mean, he's seen his usage decline a little bit, and he's last year of his deal. I know a lot of guys don't make it to that deal, that portion of the contract. So sometimes I think they load that kind of stuff. And is that usually out? Like the incentives are kind of reached by that last, year of the deal. They get rid of all that stuff, and it's just kind of, I don't know, but something to look at.
Who would you say in the locker room? Because I assume you were in the locker room, not the video.
I did both. I both. I did assess the mood.
Who had the most attention in the locker room?
Oh, well, that's really spread out. There isn't a lot of group meetings in there. It's really individual one-on-ones. I would say the big thing,
more hushed tones.
More hushed tones.
Yeah.
Guys having private conversations. I'd say probably the biggest piece from the locker room itself was that Javon Baker has now been moved across to where KJ Osborne is. So he's now with the quarterbacks and the wide receivers as well, bringing everybody, all that position group together. So, Kendrick Bourne talked again a little bit about, having those guys close, and sometimes you're across the way, you're going to miss some of the little chatter or things that we're, talking about, maybe getting ready for the game or the practice. So, but otherwise, I think everybody's just kind of back, feel kind of like I feel, where it's like, all right, 4 games, let's lock and load, get in and, focus on these games and try to pour everything we got into.
I know the head coach was asked about indirectly the Bedard report about being evaluated. Were any players asked about stuff that Bedard reported, anything like that?
No, nothing specific to Bedard, but I would say I'd say again Aquale, acknowledging that everybody's being evaluated, not just here but across the league. And
sure.
And certainly I think it's the thing that's different this year, and it's a good thing, is that they got a lot of young guys, and you heard that as a recurring theme over the last few weeks. Is these young guys are still trying to make a name for themselves. They're still bringing the energy every day. So we'll see. They're going to kick it off with a fully padded practice over there in the Waste Innovations Fieldhouse. Did I get that right?
Good use of Waste Innovations.
Thank you very much. So they're trudging over there now, and we'll see how the practice goes today. But I think we will get some interesting feedback just being a full padded practice. Who's limited? Marcus Jones wasn't here on Monday. He's one guy to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Cole Strange probably will play, right?
That's what it sounds like. Yeah. I mean, I just we spoke with him a couple weeks ago when he first came back, and he still talked about that last thing is to have a padded practice. And so I'm always aware of some of these moments, and just he's walking out by himself. He's got his pads on, no knee brace, by the way, which I just I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Guy coming off a knee injury. I know it wasn't. It was a patella tendon, right?
Yeah, so serious.
Is that, I don't know, maybe is that not always
I don't think a brace will really help brace.
Yeah, that's more
because that goes down the middle, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. So no, just a little moment there for him, and I'm very curious to see how they incorporate him. There were good questions today about. It's not like a receiver where you can put him out there for 5 to 10 snaps and get his feet wet. It's like you're a center, like you got to go right out there and handle the ball and call, make the calls and everything. So
it's a dry heat, though.
I expect to see him at center. Yeah. I don't know if he'll go like the whole way or anything like that. I don't think he's ready for that.
Yeah.
I expect to see him rotating at center. Get some serious.
I agree with you, but I also, there's part of my brain is like, he played left guard, and I know everything we're hearing is that he's working at center. So I don't know.
I think they want Layden Robinson to play center, though. I don't think they want to take reps away from him.
Left guard, you mean?
I mean left guard.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you felt. I thought it was kind of a lukewarm answer to the Ben Brown question. How's Ben Brown, since you
jumped right in there.
He jumped right in there. He played right away. But how did he play? I didn't think there was much. I think the best thing you could say was that he learned quickly. He got here right away and he was able to play.
Yeah, it hasn't messed up any snaps.
He really helped us out in a pinch.
Yeah, that was the only thing that he said that was about the center thing that gave you pause was what Mike just touched on. Go ahead. About the exchange.
Yeah, I mean that has been.
We've heard Jerod say that he really wants to play the young guys, see what he's got. Do you think that will manifest itself into like how these last 4 games are coached? Like, for example, we talked about Cole Strange. Like, it makes sense. If he's going to play center, he's going to be out there. But maybe he does rotate more, and it's not about like just winning the game. It's about just getting guys reps at different places.
Yeah, or performance, right?
Yeah.
Like is Ben Brown playing bad, or is this just a pre-made plan that we want to get him some reps?
Can we agree? And I'm the first guy to admit all the time that I don't study the offensive line tape. But can we agree that if Ben Brown was playing at a high level, we wouldn't be looking to get a young guy, and he is a young guy.
Yeah, we'd be like, Ben Brown, we found somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to sign
like
him.
If they thought that was the answer, this would not be a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just such a unique position. That's what I think is makes it a little bit more complicated because, like I said, any other position in the game, you're not, other than quarterback, like you're not assured to touch the ball when you get in the game. You can, get a guy feet wet, that kind of thing where, it's almost like a goalie, right? Like it's like you just gonna have to throw him in there and see how it goes. So, but I think I like your point, Fred. I was thinking the same thing. It's, is somebody gonna come out because he's not playing well, or does it just seem like, all right, he's gonna start us off, get us settled, and then we're gonna let Cole
I just
roll?
don't know if they have a lot of examples of that. Like I think the cornerback thing that we talked about from the Colts game is an example of that. I think Jonathan Jones is better than Alex Austin and Isaiah Bolden.
Yeah.
And they rotated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's clearly, to me, an effort. We need to see what some of these other guys can do. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that makes a lot of sense. And Mike talked about Jonathan Jones' contract is going to be coming to an end, too. So you need to find some answers.
Yep.
But if Jalen Polk is out there instead of Keyshawn Boutte, or if Javon Baker is out there instead of, Demario Douglas, is like, they're all young guys. They're all getting reps.
Right.
I don't know how much of an edge you get with one over,
Yep.
I would expect to continue to see Boutte, Douglas, and Bourne with the other two sort of factored in.
Yeah.
But I don't expect to see all of a sudden
You're not gonna
Javon
see-
Baker get
You're not
55
gonna
snaps
see
on Sunday.
Hasty over Gibson and things like that.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
And that's not really, like, they don't really have a young guy in that room. They're all the same.
Yeah. They're
You know?
both under the contract. I mean, th're here.
And they're all like 4 or 5 year guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stevenson,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know exactly. Shoot me.
Yeah, a few more years. Yeah, 3 more years. I think 3-4 more years for Stevenson. And
Should I pose my Jerod suggestion to Mike, see what he says?
Go ahead.
So my suggestion to Coach Mayo is, with the caveat that he's earned it, name Drake May a captain for these final 4 games.
Oh. Interesting. Think about that a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I don't mind it. I think the players already really look at him as a captain. I mean, especially the way Bourne's talking about him. I mean, Bourne was pumping him up.
Yep.
But I don't know. There's also part of me, though, that likes saving that for next year. I think that's obviously going to be a slam dunk next year and really making that, a step forward that he takes. If you did it right now, does it feel kind of rushed and ceremonial and not really like next summer Drake May is officially a captain now in his second year? Like maybe it packs a little more punch.
Right.
I don't know. Those are my thoughts off the top.
I was just thinking about ways to make these final 4 games more, more meaningful.
Yeah.
And so if you finish the season with Drake May being named a captain, and he takes on that mantle, and I don't know.
It's coming. I mean, it's definitely coming. I
Yeah.
mean, and
Oh,
Bourne
yeah.
can't speak highly enough about.
There's no
just
doubt he'll be a
Drake.
captain next year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, Bourne today, it's just interesting hearing him phrase it this way, but he was just like, if you see the defense a certain way and you're going to get to a spot, he's going to see it the same way, and he's going to get the ball to that spot. And so I don't know. That stuck out to me a little bit. But yeah, I think they're all super high on Drake, and it seems like everybody's hoping that he can put a strong finish to the season.
All right, take a break. When we come back, more
Fred's
of your calls
Foods here.
and emails on Patriots Unfiltered, and Evan will be back from practice, and we'll get that report. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want on your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Good afternoon. Or good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Excited to get back out there on the practice field today. We'll be in the bubble today. Full padded practice. Got to get better. And it comes down to fundamentals. Had the players had a bye week. Coaches don't really get bye weeks. Had a couple of days that, I was able to sit there and really reflect on, the season up until this point. And really the goal remains the same, and that's to play our best football at the end of the year. And that's the goal. Do we always hit the goals? No, but we're going to do our best to hit that goal. Flipping the page over to Arizona, very good team. I'll start defensively. To me, like if you watch that team as a whole, they definitely play fast and they fly around, regardless of position. And saying that, I think one of the big things as you watch their defense is just versatility. You just don't know where those guys are going to line up. They have, outside linebackers that can drop, outside linebackers that can rush. You have a safety in Budda Baker who really, he makes the whole engine go. He'll be in the box. He'll blitz off the edge. He also can play in the middle of the field. So a very versatile player, very good player. Going to the linebackers, really Zaven. Zaven's done a good job as an on-the-ball backer. And I would also say Mac Wilson's playing pretty well for him. Just, saying I'm happy for him. He's out there doing a good job. Hopefully not on Sunday. Then moving offensively, I think it all starts with the quarterback. I mean, this is one of the more elusive quarterbacks that you're going to see in the league, as you guys know. He can beat you two ways. He can beat you with his arm and he can beat you with his legs. Does a good job really getting the ball out and does a good job extending plays, and that's what the NFL is. It turns into street ball at some point in time. He does a good job there. I think the offensive line, I think they're very stout up front. I think they work well together. Their double teams, they definitely get a lot of movement off the ball. So we got to go out there and play with good fundamentals, good pad level, and really try to control the line of scrimmage. Obviously, the receivers do a good job. That just a mix of speed, a mix of size. So we definitely have to do a good job marrying up the rush and the coverage. Going to Connor, I mean, this guy's still going. It's been very impressive to see that a guy at this age is still running very hard. He's tough. He can run between the tackles. He can run outside. He can run you over. He can run around you. So he's a very good player. And it's good to see that he's, after all that he's been through, that he's still playing at a high level at this point in time. And then special teams. Look, obviously, Chad's over there. He was Special Teams Player of the Month. I think the first month he was there. But they have a lot of game-changing type of players on special teams as well. With that being said, fire away.
You had some time to reflect a little bit. What do you want to see your team do? Obviously win, but in order to get there better than they've done of late.
I mean, it's all about winning. It's all about winning. And I hate to say that. I know you said besides win, but it's all about winning, and it's all about going out there playing complementary football. And that's what we want to see. And that has been the goal. Early in the season, I said the same thing. Like when we get to the end of the season, we got to make sure that we're playing our best football, and that's still the goal.
You made some personnel moves yesterday, including parting ways with KJ Osborne. Can you talk a little bit about what went into that?
Yeah, it was a mutual thing. And look, KJ, even when he was inactive, he was just a great professional, a great person, a great leader. It just didn't work out, and we decided to part ways.
Defensively, Jerod, you guys have got most of the guys back, but you guys are still struggling on that side of the ball. What do you think the cause of that is, and what can you and DeMarcus do moving forward to try to fix that?
Yeah, I mean, look, it always starts with me as a coach, no matter what side of the ball we're talking about. I think, just as a whole, we just need to go out there and play together. We need to do a better job communicating and fly around. And, again, we're paid to tackle the guy with the football, and that's going to be our number one priority this week.
With Cole Strange being activated onto the 53, how do you envision him being integrated into, let's say, a game it's not like a receiver where one play you can
That's right.
pull one out. So how would that go?
That's a great question. With Cole, he has the flexibility to play center and guard, and hopefully he'll be up for the game this week. And he understands both of those positions, and I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see him out there in full pads today at practice, and excited to see him at the game. Hopefully.
Would you be open to, let's say, if it's center, a couple series for Ben, or even guard, a couple series for Layden, and then rotate?
Yeah, it's tough to stay. It's tough to say. Especially early in the season, even through the midway point in the season, we've always talked about continuity up front, and so that's really, I don't want to say that's off the table, but it's a hard question to answer.
The Bulls earned a spot in the college football playoffs.
Go Bulls.
Yeah, just what was your reaction to that? And just talk a little
Yeah, I was happy for those guys. They got a tough matchup. I think they play Ohio State the first game, so tough matchup. I'm rooting for them, but at the same time, I'm only focused on the Cardinals right now. So.
You and Joe talk about it at all?
Yeah, we talk about it. We just give each other a high five, and we just keep it moving.
Jerod, Marvin Harrison Jr., how much work did you put in on him for the draft, and what stands out about him when you watch him?
We put a lot of work in, at all the guys that we thought were going to be available at 3. And look, this is a guy who obviously he grew up in it, but great hands, great size. And he's also good when Kyler's extending the play. He has a good feel. It's like they have a good chemistry between the two of them. So good player.
Jerod, you've talked about wanting to kind of evaluate players over the course of, the final month or so. Does that evaluation for you also include your coaching staff? I mean, will you be doing that kind of evaluation as well?
No, we're all being evaluated, myself included, and that's part of it.
When it comes to Ben Brown and Cole Strange could compete at center, what have you seen from Ben in the time that he's been there in the middle, and obviously with his contract? I think he's a restricted free agent next offseason. So
Sorry, the start of that question. Sorry.
I'm sorry, with Ben Brown, I was wondering, what have you thought of his performance since obviously the competition could be at center with Cole Strange?
Yeah, Ben's been great. The first week he got here, he started that game. So he's just one of those guys that loves football, wants to do everything right, and is a great teammate and a great professional. So, yeah, look, we compete all the time. Every position, they have to compete each and every week.
To the practice squad yesterday. What went into the decision, and are you essentially adding competition to Joey's side?
Yeah, I think we all look. It's always it's a competitive league, and look, we got to see what he can do. Joey's done a good job for us as well throughout the season, but at the same time, we're always looking to formulate competition on the roster.
Jerod, I think the last time we chatted with you before the bye, you said obviously we're focusing on the season, but we have to look at things out the front windshield that will come up on us fast. What were some of those things you got to look at during the bye week?
Yeah, I would say just the style of play that we have. You start with the scheme, and then you go to the players, and then honestly, like what I can do better. Like those are all part of the discussion.
More experience as head coach on the front, but have you been able to put your imprint on the defense? Because I know you talked about sort of letting the coaches coach and letting DeMarcus do his thing, but as it's gone along, have you been able to sort of?
I spend a lot of time with the defense, and I do agree. Like during the game, I'm still talking to those guys over the headset. Just because I'm not over there doesn't mean I'm not involved. And so I'm in those meetings, in the game plan meetings, and look, we just have to play better.
Coming off the bye, haven't had some time to reflect. What are some of the things that you're focused on specifically for yourself these last 4 games?
I'm focused on coaching my butt off against Arizona.
Is there anything in particular though, just in terms of whether it's during the week, in game, communication, anything in particular that you're?
To me, winning cures all. And whatever the expectations are, like winning cures all, in my opinion.
Jerod, when it comes to center, if it is Cole instead of Ben, how much does the quarterback center exchange factor into that decision, seeing how clean it's been with Ben and Drake?
Yeah, that's always a huge part of it. And look, you have to get Drake's opinion on who he feels most comfortable with at that spot. The quarterback center exchange starts every play, and it's definitely weighted in that decision.
You said last week, I think a couple times last week, that you expect to improve in year 2. What are some of the areas that you believe you have to improve on?
Yeah, I'm not going to get too much into the details there. I think, again, my focus is on this week and winning this football game. So.
Can Wallace return to practice on Monday? Do you expect him to be available to play as soon as this weekend, and could he factor in?
It could be as soon as this weekend. And today, like I said, this is a big day for a lot of guys who haven't played a lot this year, Caden being one of them, to go out there in pads and see what it looks like. All right. Thanks, guys.
And now, great moments in history.
Who did our lads have? Mac Heron?
Yeah, they don't do the proper research either.
I like how Paul says our lads.
Oh, what is it called? It's called our lads.
Our lads, not our lads.
I thought it was our lads.
Our.
Our?
Our lads.
O-U-R.
R is A-R-E.
O-U-R is one syllable.
Owned.
No, it's our.
No, it's not our.
Our.
It's our.
Like yours, mine, and our.
Our.
Lads.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yours, mine, and ours. Yes.
This is the kind of nonsense we're going to use.
It's our lads. How do you say A-R-E?
Correct.
How do you say A-R-E? R.
That you say R.
It's the same.
O-U-R. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
O-U-R is
It's
our.
not our.
No, it's not.
Look it up in the
Yes, it
dictionary.
is.
It's not two syllables.
you've been
Our is
No,
not
no,
two
no, it's not.
syllables.
R and R are not the same thing.
R,
like
lads.
A-R-E and O-R-E.
It's
O-U-R
pronounced
are not
R.
pronounced the
It's
same.
not our. My God.
That's another great moment from
Great.
My God, he's just disgusted with us.
So, it's so great because it's the hill you choose to die on.
Did you hear him in the middle of that, Mike?
Our-
He tasked us with going to the dictionary.
Oh yeah.
So I've done it.
Okay.
Okay. Our adjective. Right. I'm going to play the pronunciation. Okay. You ready?
Ready.
Our.
Oh, that's wrong. that's you're relying on dumb AI shit.
So I'm just gonna say, wow, we're just throwing S bombs out there now. I'm just gonna say this. That makes me the happiest ever because, as the resident most stubborn person on the planet on the show, Fred just says, "I don't care. You looked it up.
It's wrong.
You proved me wrong. I don't care. I'm still right."
I'm right.
There's part of me that really appreciates that.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
That's funny.
Our.
Want to do some trivia?
Oh, I'd
All
love
right,
to
let's
do
go.
some trivia.
Boston Cream writes it in.
Oh, this
Boston Cream not happy with me yesterday.
No?
No?
Yeah, on the Twitter machine.
What? You went at it?
Because I said that the whole fullback thing with
Yeah.
that we were talking about, and it's like, yeah, a versatile fullback. I think there's still a place for a guy that can Kyle Juszczyk. He can get out and catch some passes and line up in different spots and give the defenses different things to create matchup problems.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily interested in an old school fullback
lead
like
blocker.
James Devlin.
Yeah.
To which he says that they haven't won anything since he left. Like he had my
Well,
whole quote.
well.
They haven't won anything since he left, and that's not a coincidence. To which I would say, no, it's actually the definition of a coincidence. And they lost Brady at the same time.
Yeah.
That might be the bigger factor in the
That
fact that
guy.
they haven't won, which I actually think Boston Cream.
He might have been
meant.
kidding
I
around.
that's what I was about to say.
He's mostly usually kidding around.
And I think that he was like that.
Yeah,
I think he was being very sarcastic.
Do the math.
Yeah.
Other people did not take to his sarcasm.
Well, that's his brilliance that he'll say that. He'll start the argument.
now he's
then
on
the real
both.
people
Now
who
he's on
believe
both
it will start
sides.
the fighting, and he just sits back and
So
donuts.
I do appreciate Boston Cream's attempt. I think
Always.
attempt at humor.
I would say.
Other people were not happy with me.
The Patriots have drafted 11 wide receivers in the second round in their existence. Only 3 of those have more than 1,000 career receiving yards. Can you name the 3?
Deion Branch.
Correct.
Ooh, right off the top.
1,000?
Yeah, career receiving yards.
Tony Simmons?
No. One was during your heyday.
I don't know. This is all you, Paul. Sorry.
Vincent Brisby.
Oh, Briz was a second-round pick.
And he has Cedric Jones.
It's actually Cedric, but yes.
Cedric.
I should have gotten. Well, I wouldn't have known Cedric Jones was a second-round pick. I should have gotten Briz.
2, Tom Brady.
Very good question, though.
Tom Brady threw 1 touchdown to a Patriots offensive lineman and 2 to Patriots defenders. Can you name the 3?
Nate Solder.
Solder, yeah.
That's 1.
Mike Vrabel.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Dan Klecko.
No.
Oh.
Another defender.
Landon Roberts.
Oh, jeez. How did we not get that one?
That sparked one of the greatest Fred Paul arguments ever. Do you remember that?
Right, the gadget
Trick
play.
play.
Trick play.
Yeah, that was great. I can't believe. Man, who's this emailer?
Boston Cream.
Oh, Boston Cream. This is just This is beautiful.
Final one.
Trivia questions that are stumping me. I love it.
The price of a 16-ounce beer at Gillette Stadium is $8.58, which ranks 24th in price. Can you guess the price of the most expensive beer at an NFL stadium?
The price.
Ooh, the price. 15.
16.
A little bit more. $16.49 at Northwest Stadium in Washington.
Wow. I would have guessed Dallas. Washington.
Northwest Stadium, and like where the Seahawks play? Is that what it's called now?
Oh, is that the Seahawks place?
I don't know.
I was thinking Commanders, Washington. Commanders.
Oh, no, I think you meant Washington State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the matter?
No.
Is it like a craft brew, like Pacific Northwest?
That might be it. That might be
You know,
it.
you snooty
Very-
types.
very fancy.
You probably
I
drink
like
that.
IPAs. I like some
I'm not,
IPAs.
not surprised.
I
That
do.
checks.
I do. Pack a little punch.
That
you know,
checks
got a little
out.
flavor. I like it.
I'm seeing it's the Commanders.
Northwest
Stadium is
in the.
Google says a 16-ounce beer at Washington Commanders game costs $16.49.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
they don't play at Northwest Stadium unless it's Northwest the airline. Is that still an
I
airline?
think that's Southwest.
No.
No.
Northwest was our old charter.
What's Northwest
before we went-
Stadium?
I'm looking it up. Northwest ISD Stadium, Fort Worth, Texas. That ain't it. Washington Commanders, Northwest Stadium.
It is.
It's weird.
Yeah, home of the Commanders.
In the Mid-Atlantic.
So it must be the airline, right? I
Yeah.
guess.
It's so hard to keep track
I
of
don't
these
think the
sponsors.
airline
They're always
exists
changing.
anymore.
So what's Northwest?
I don't know. I was looking up the stadium to see if
Okay.
it was in.
It's Kanye's daughter.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the TPX hotline again. We'll go to Dale in Iowa. What's up, Dale?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing today?
Okay.
Doing great.
Good, good. Coming in from Iowa. So, I've got a few misses that I'm not very satisfied with in recent Patriots drafts. Right? We're talking like Miss Riley Reef out of the University of Iowa, and they missed. They missed a should have been a rookie of the year. No matter where he ended up, but he ended up in Tampa Bay. It's Tristan Wirfs.
Okay.
What if, because Tristan Wirfs, the year before at his position, left tackle, I believe, his position gave up 28 and a half sacks. In his rookie year with Tom Brady, he gave up 1. Okay?
Tristan Wirfs is an excellent player. I mean, Riley Reef was drafted in 2012.
Yes. I call it a recent one because I'm kind of old. Yeah. Anyhow.
But wasn't he here?
Anyhow.
He was the guy that we had last year that couldn't play.
Briefly, I got
right?
hurt, yeah.
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 I don't think he ever saw the field, really.
12 years later. Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, 12 years later, right.
So the point is they need to pay more attention to Iowa? Is that what we're saying? Is that the point?
Yeah,
I think they
2012.
do. I think they do. That. I mean,
Okay.
I think
Cooper DeJean.
They didn't have offensive line problems in 2012.
Yeah. Well, well, thanks for the call, Dale. I know that, Bill used to have a good relationship with Kirk Ferentz.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but I don't think we did draft a lot of people out of Iowa. But
No.
Yeah.
No, we were
the
always
coach, right? Yeah, Brian Ferentz was here for a while.
Yeah.
And we all joked that Cooper DeJean would have been one of Bill's boos last draft season.
Tristan Wirfs is a terrific player, and absolutely, they wouldn't be having these kinds of issues had he been anchoring their left tackle spot for the last, whatever, 5-7 years, however many years he's been in the league.
It's definitely
a good player.
Like going to the combine, I feel like every year you're looking at these guys, and it's just they haven't really taken one yet that I'm like, yeah, that's the guy. It's been the Cole Stranges of the world. Caden Wallace, watched him last year. I'm like, he's a developmental right tackle, not what they need. I don't know. I think this is the year, hopefully, that they can, try to. We're going to talk so much about the first round, and I feel like really it's the second and third round is where they really need to be diligent, because I have confidence no matter who they pick in the first round, if they stay where they are, he's probably going to be a very good player that is hard to miss on. But those, same thing with last year.
They need to hit on more than one player.
You got to hit those second and third picks wherever there's some value in the draft, because it's going to be a quick drop off after day 2. You get into day 3. Now you're talking about just taking a flyer on somebody.
Deuce, earlier I said Terry Bradshaw shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh.
Jack in Ann Arbor says he does deserve. Besides his 4 Super Bowl victories, he was a 6-time AFC champion At the time of his retirement, he held 6 Super Bowl records, 5 postseason passing records. He was NFL MVP in '78. He's a member of the '70s NFL All-Decade team. He was All-Pro in '78 and a 3-time Pro Bowler. His outstanding career achievements warrant his membership in the NFL Hall of Fame. He rode on the Steelers' coattails.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that he definitely was a product of a great team, but he was great when he needed to be too. He had some good performances. 35-31 over Dallas in Super Bowl 13, and then 31-19 over the Rams the following year. In 14, maybe earlier in his career they were a little bit more defensive-oriented games, but he was a great deep ball thrower. Did he say that he was an AFC champion 6 times?
Yeah,
that's what he said.
That's not accurate. Because if you're an AFC champion, that means you lost in the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
I'm not overthinking
AFC
this.
North?
Well, you could have won in the Super Bowl if you're an AFC champion.
But they won 4.
4
Super Bowls, not 6. They didn't lose any.
Oh, they didn't lose any? Okay.
Those Steelers teams didn't lose any Super Bowls.
Okay, so then that's not true.
I wonder if he meant AFC Central champs.
Maybe that's
maybe
6-time AFC Central champs.
Could be.
Maybe he meant.
Should have saved it for Evan. No one hates the Steelers Hall of Fame from the '70s.
Well, anybody that's ever had any success in any endeavor in the league that's not Patriots is either stinks, overrated, or a product of the officiating.
Patrick in Ottawa, I have to disagree with you, Fred. Many teams have established cultures without winning. Greg Schiano's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Detroit.
Their culture was dirty. That was their culture.
Detroit, Dan Campbell.
Yeah, again, I went over that one,
right.
But go ahead.
Both of those teams were not winning necessarily, but were establishing a culture before they were able to actually consistently win. For that culture to stay winning must happen, but you can still establish how things are going to be before the winning actually starts to happen.
Yeah, and I agree with that, and I use Detroit as an example.
Yeah.
But I just think that they were kind of, until they won, they were kind of mocked for taking on Dan Campbell's, big tough guy.
Yeah.
I use Carolina right now is establishing an identity of being a really tough team to play against with no talent. But the last 5 weeks, they've been much better than they were in the first 5 weeks.
Yeah. I just think it's tenuous without wins. You can have that, but it's fleeting for how long you can live in that space. Because
you
if
can't
you don't
do this
win,
again next year.
You're out.
Detroit went 3-13-1, then went 9-8.
Yeah, right, exactly.
If they went 3-13-1 again, they probably would have fired Campbell. They would have needed to start all over again and find a new identity.
Right.
But they were able to have success after that. We used Fred, I think, is the one who brought up the Lions as an example of a team that plays the identity of their coach.
I struggle to think of another example of a team that, really said what they want to do, and they did it, and they got ridiculed for it a lot, but then they grew into it, and now they embrace it and embody it, and I can't think of that ever happening before. I think usually how it happens is kind of like it's happening here. You're up, you're down, you win some, you lose some, and then you start to win some games a certain way, and that becomes who
a
you
lot
are.
of guys talk about it. In their introductory press conference.
Right, that's all bullshit.
Oh,
sorry.
Well, I don't know what we're doing.
I did it doesn't mean you can.
I don't know what we're doing today.
I did swear. Oh no.
This is going to go down as a very unique show where Paul's the only professional.
Can
that
I say real
never
quick?
happens.
I keep wanting to say this. I just have to
What,
say.
do you want to swear again?
I think the hardest I've ever laughed on this show was Fred's line about the side of the highway. Little memorial for the dump you took. I laugh so hard, and I still laugh about that. That I think is the funniest thing I've ever experienced on this show.
It was good. Fred takes something
memorial,
some solemn nightmare of a memory for people, and he's like, "You should do that for where you took the dump."
Whenever I go by him, I feel so bad, and I think it's like. Mom and Dad, R.I.P. And then you're looking and you're like, Jesus, they go right off here.
I immediately think about myself.
Was it that tree? You go through all these morbid thoughts.
If God forbid that ever happened to someone that was close to me,
oh right,
and then Fred's like, you should memorialize that where you took that dump.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's worth something. Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. Good, Fred.
Shane in Calgary, with regards to Drake May's captaincy. When did Tom Brady first become captain? Personally, I would agree with Fred that making a captain this year would be a good idea. It would set the tone going forward that we have definitely found our guy.
I think it was 2002. But Can I ask a question? And I don't know the answer to it.
Yes,
I'm going
yes,
to be
in the back.
upfront about that. Do you think there's a team in the league that has a starting quarterback in year 2 or more that isn't the captain? Like they have a definitive starting quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Is Daniel
Like,
Jones a captain?
I'm not talking about like Aiden O'Connell with the Raiders.
Right.
Like someone like Daniel Jones.
Daniel
pops in my
Jones is
mind.
probably a captain.
Yeah,
I would imagine, right?
Probably, but still.
Bryce Young is probably even a captain.
Yeah, I mean, Jacoby Brissett was a captain, right?
But I just wonder if there's a single team that had an entrenched starting quarterback in year 2 or greater that wasn't the quarterback.
Jimmy
or wasn't the
Garoppolo.
captain. When?
Was he entrenched in second year in San Francisco?
Yeah, I'm sure he was a captain.
Oh, was he?
I'm sure he was.
I don't know.
I don't.
I have no idea.
I don't know the answer to the question.
But like Kirk Cousins, he's a captain, right, in Atlanta. They're like guys who switch teams, but they're established still, and they're going to be the starter. Usually, they get to be the starter. Or they get to be captain as well.
Yeah, I just think that if you
Matt,
have
look up to see if Jimmy Garoppolo was ever a captain at 49ers.
if you have a starting quarterback, my guess is he's a captain.
I would guess too.
Yeah.
But there's always exceptions. Emery writes in, I agree that Bedard's evaluation report is a big nothing burger. I also think it's the wrong report to focus on. He had another report that candidates for the offensive coordinator job felt like the interviews were light on football. I'm staunchly in the Mayo deserves another year camp, but this information gave me pause.
Did we mention that earlier in the show?
Yeah, we did.
I didn't know. Cause
Or maybe it was off.
Yeah, sometimes we talk off air, and I don't remember exactly what we say
Yeah.
on air. But, yeah, that was interesting. That and it's been reported in the past who was in on those meetings, but Bedard said they were very light on football, evidently. I can't read this stuff.
Yeah. Ross in Scotland.
But I pick
writes
it up
in-
on the Twitter machine. People seem to like
Ross in
pull the
Scotland.
quotes.
If you want to expense,
I don't. I just want to. How do you not know me well enough after 25 years?
I know.
I just want to bitch about it. I don't want to expense it.
I know, but
I don't want to read it.
Do you buy it from Boston Sports Network or do you buy it from? Doesn't he with the
BSJ?
Boston Sports Journal.
No, you can
Boston
just buy
Sports
it
Journal.
directly through Boston Sports Journal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he joined another group.
And we have like a
He
login,
dabbles.
but it doesn't work for me.
A lot of these guys dabble with Clintus now. Like Andrew Callahan dabbles. Like they do some video
Sounds
work
dirty.
with them. Yeah,
I
like
dabble with
on the
Clintus,
side.
yeah.
Well,
dabble with Clintus on the side.
Garoppolo was 2019. He became a captain.
There you go.
Yeah,
Even him.
Why do you say even him?
Because he wasn't really.
See what I mean, Mike? I know you think I exaggerate, and I do, but as soon as they take the uniform off,
Well,
the scourge of the
he had the reputation of being a little soft.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with his
You don't want
ability to be a
soft
captain?
guy as your captain. You want a tough guy. You want a guy who's always going to be out there for you, no matter what. That's your captain.
I think it would have been fine if he just was a little bit better, like that. You know.
Okay.
He's got shark.
Ross in Scotland, I have a
doll's eyes.
request for the finest producer in sports
Lifeless
radio.
eyes, doll's
That's Matt before Mike or Paul. Ask who. Can we have an updated version of the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation intro that we can use to have on PFW Christmas shows, please? That we used to have.
Oh.
Do you have that? I don't know.
I do. I play it every year.
Oh, okay. Fred, if Matt seems reluctant,
That's
he
real
does.
nice of you, Clark.
Can you swing your senior management authority
Sorry, mighty.
to get it done, please?
Bingo.
So you use that every year?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you have to update it now, or does
I
it?
do. Because I ask everybody what their favorite movie quote, their favorite Christmas movie quote was. I asked that of you guys my first year here, and anytime we got a new host, I asked them, and I put it into the intro.
I have no.
What did I say?
I have no recollection of this at all.
I don't.
Give me a second, I'll pull them up.
I don't know from Christmas Vacation.
You don't?
No. I know the movie. I've seen
Jelly of the
parts
Month
it.
Club?
Oh.
I wasn't really big other than Animal House. I wasn't a big fan of the National Lampoon movies. I didn't think they were very funny.
Yeah. I can see that.
Interesting take.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I don't
Yeah.
hate your take.
Okay.
But I'm just surprised that you'd never seen. I mean,
It's on
I know
all the time.
It's ironic.
Oh,
but I would say I can't believe you've never seen that.
I've never sat down and watched the whole movie. I've probably seen the whole movie in bits and pieces.
Well, that's kind of my thing with a lot
Yeah.
of different movies.
So I didn't label them as who picked who off the top right here, but I have Bad Santa, Christmas Carol, Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation, It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life was Eric. I remember that.
Of course. Mine's Christmas Story.
I
BB
have
gun.
no idea which one of those I would have.
I think I have a Christmas Story. I would.
I can't believe I didn't go with Die Hard or Godfather.
He's trying. I love when we have this debate.
and he takes it seriously.
What's
every
the
time.
Christmas message?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. It's family, right?
Right.
John wants to get back with his ex-wife, and he'll go to any lengths to do that,
Uh-huh.
including taking down, and saving
Gruber and-
I couldn't think of his name.
Hans
Hans
Gruber.
Gruber, and saving Nakatomi Plaza.
Don't forget to leave your cigarettes and lighter in your homes this Christmas Eve.
What better Christmas message can there be than family? He would do anything to get his ex-wife back.
Right. Nothing to do with Christmas. It's not a Christmas movie. I'm sorry. Paul, save this when you're a fill-in in one of your shows, okay? We don't talk about that here.
That's coming up.
Yeah.
That's coming up.
23rd,
24th.
Right.
Also, Fred, it's Northwest Federal Credit Union.
Paul showed me that. I guess it's a bank or something like that.
In the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah. Ford in Savannah says, don't you dare put that cursed captain's badge on our precious Drake. We want him around, and it's been a kiss of death this year. That's a good point, Fred.
That's a good point.
So who knew? Belichick knew.
Checks.
If you put that C on someone's chest,
Don't
which
get
he
hurt.
never did, they automatically fall by the wayside.
Except Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry's dodged it so far. Knock on.
Jeffrey in Canada has a this or that game.
You could deal with
Truth
this.
serum
You could deal
time.
with
I'm
that.
going to give you two scenarios, and you have to pick which you'd rather see happen, while considering the ramifications for the short and long-term future of the Patriots. Patriots go 2-2 in the last 4 games. The media are impressed. Shut up about Mayo's future. However, because they now have 5 wins, they get the 8th pick in the 2025 draft, subsequently 40th overall pick in round 2.
Okay.
So 2-2 in the last 4 games. The media is quiet. Everything's better, but
8th overall.
now they have-
those are the two choices?
No, not yet. No, I
Oh.
think number 1's coming, right?
That's all
Number
one
2.
choice.
That's one choice.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The second choice is the Patriots lose all 4 games. The media has tons of negative to feed on for months. However, it secures the 1st overall pick in the 2025 draft, subsequently the 33rd pick in round 2.
1.
You'd rather have 1.
Absolutely.
Full
No,
show.
the first option, not the number 1
Not
pick.
even a
This
Not
is-
according to Jeffrey.
I don't think there's anybody worthy of the number 1
He says,
pick.
to me, the choice is clear. Lose out, enter a draft where the worst-case scenario is you have Travis Hunter.
Really?
And?
Yeah.
Like, what does that do for you? Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't take Travis Hunter, but, like, that's a...
Yeah.
Like, how many teams are a cornerback away?
I know. That's what's scary about him to me. I mean, I like him. I mean, he's got a lot of what I'm looking for, but
I think he's tremendous.
Hey,
I think cornerback gets filled in free agency.
was there updates on Randy Moss today, his condition?
Not that I saw.
Somebody, are you talking post, I think Larry Fitzgerald tweeted out that he, what he has, and then there was some people upset about that.
Oh, really?
So what does he have?
He said liver cancer.
Oh, damn it.
So, it's funny. It's amazing.
Yeah.
My wife just diagnoses off
What?
of appearance.
The yellow eyes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, liver,
Yeah.
kidney, liver, yellow
Yep.
eyes. Yep.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And that's what you saw? Oh, that's
what
why
she
he had
said.
the glasses on?
That's what she said. Yeah, his eyes are yellow, and that's liver. He's got a liver issue.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad. Let's see. Travis in West Virginia. This is kind of a network type of question. Fox and CBS both have double headers on Sunday. Why don't they do this every Sunday? Isn't there enough meat on the bones of the NFL that everyone comes out a winner?
That's a great question.
It used to be a rule that both networks couldn't have double headers and they'd switch off, right?
I believe it's the home market didn't have a game opposite it.
Right.
So the Patriots would play. It's a CBS game this week, I think.
Probably.
So there wouldn't be a
So
doubleheader game on Fox.
So to be clear, every week
In Boston.
except for when CBS used to have the U.S. Open tennis, every week both networks have games in both time slots.
Correct.
But depending on where you are, you may not be able to see both games.
I believe that you are correct.
Because of it's a home game. But CBS and Fox both have games at 1 and 4 every week.
That's how I understand
Except
it.
for when the U.S.
But
Open used to be on CBS.
But in the Boston market, I believe the rule, and maybe this isn't a rule anymore, but
Right.
you couldn't have a game opposite your home team. So if you played Sunday at 1, there wouldn't be a game Sunday at 1 on the other network.
Yeah. Right. Or if you're going at 4, there's not going to be a game at 1 before it, right?
No, there could be.
There could be.
Depending on who had the doubleheader. But I think the way Fred describes it is accurate.
Yeah.
I think there's doubleheaders on both networks every week. You just can't see all 4 games at the same time.
That's right.
I had to deal with that this weekend where you're like, oh shoot, what games am I even getting? I don't even realize which.
See,
I
that's
put
the
Red
funny
Zone
part
on,
now
but-
is I don't watch. I just watch $8.99. I'm on Red Zone.
I feel like I'm
exclusively.
cheating when I watch Red Zone.
The only time
I'm not being a good fan.
The only time I changed it is when we got to there was about 10 minutes left in the Bills game, and I went to Fox to watch
the whole
Bills game because that the other game I was kind of keeping Red Zone on just to kind of keep an eye on Arizona because we're playing them. But then the Bills game got compelling as they were making the comeback, and I watched.
But
the,
I do
the
feel
stretch
like
of that.
I'm cheating on on the league when I watch Red Zone.
What did they ever do for you?
No, I just feel like I should be watching a game instead of just snippets of games.
Yeah. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to plug it all together. I
But
can't-
it's easy. You start watching it, you get hooked.
I know.
Like, how do you turn away?
And it's so funny. Like you know how you're always like, oh, after this drive is over, they'll go to commercial. I'll go get that load of laundry, or I'll get something to eat.
You just keep going,
Right.
and going.
You try to wait for like the halftime window or the 1 o'clock
Right.
games when they all go to half
only
at the
one
same
game going
time.
on right now. Like, yeah.
And you don't like Scott Hansen. I think he does a fine job. I think
So,
he's fine.
I lost track. I got to double figures of things that he just completely lost track of on Sunday. It's just so frustrating.
Dan
and
and
again,
Everett-
he sees more than I can. I'm just watching the stupid TV.
You should email him like people email us. Like, Scott, hi. Here's a list of your your mistakes.
Right. What a dude! What? I mean, you'd have to be next level.
Dan and Everett writes in of would you rather, 1, win close games against the Chargers and Cardinals, or blow out the Bills once?
Whatever's more wins, 2 wins.
Yeah, I'd probably say 1 because what if that scenario is the Bills are sitting
Well,
everybody?
plus, does it matter if they blow anybody out or if they win? Like, just win.
I think it'd be a good feeling though. The Chargers playoff jockeying. I mean, you have a chance to really hurt them potentially at that second to last game of the season. They might be really desperate for a win at that point.
Agreed. You can be spoiler. Like, you have 4 teams that are at least involved in the playoffs. I count Arizona as being at least involved, even though they have a losing record.
Fading.
Yeah, they're a game back.
Yeah.
They win, Seattle loses. All of a sudden, they're even in record. They lost the tiebreaker, but they're right there. Well, they wouldn't be even. I think are they 2 games back? Yeah, they're 2 games back. Never mind. 2 games. 8-5,
Gotta
6
hop
and
'em.
7.
Yeah.
855-PASS-500 is the TPX hotline. If you want to get your call in before Evan gets here, you better hurry. Brandon in North Carolina.
He's not in Atlanta?
You got any updates for us in North Carolina, Brandon? I read an article talking about Garrett Wilson, who may request a trade next year. Is there any possibility that he could become available? If so, would you rather have Wilson or T. Higgins? Also,
Garrett
do you
Wilson.
think I'd rather have Garrett Wilson?
Yeah,
too.
I would.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But
Also-
I think there's a 0% chance the Jets would trade him to the Patriots.
Yeah. Also, do you think Mayo and Kraft would have the guts to move on from Covington? Our defense needs answers, and I don't think he has experience to give those answers.
I mean, I think he's up against it here these last few games. A couple, challenges, real challenges with Kyler Murray. I mean, I know he's a specialized player, but he does a lot of stuff that is going to challenge this defense and their discipline, things that they've struggled with all year. And then, of course, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. I mean, I think DeMarcus Covington's got to come up with something, and the guys have to execute it for him to show, to get some people feeling positive about the defensive side of the ball going forward.
Let's see. Bretton Lemonster has a critique of Evan. It's been mentioned before, but not what makes it funny. When Evan does the read for Toyota on Catch 22, he says the word Toyota 3 times, but he says it like Toyota 2 times and Toyota 1 time. And it's not always the same place. Most of the time he says Toyota, Toyota, Toyota. But sometimes the Toyota is the first one or last one. So
That's
we'll
funny.
have to grill
Yeah.
him on that.
Yeah. Well, don't tell him. I don't want to. I have to observe it first.
Yeah.
Toyota.
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 Well, the old guy that used to do the car commercials, his son is now the owner of the company. But who
Ernie
am I?
Bach?
Ernie Bach, the original
Yeah,
Ernie Bach,
yeah.
the father. He used to say Toyota.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in the commercials.
Really?
Yeah, he used to say Toyota.
You old.
Oh yeah. I remember my TV. Rusty in Arlen writes in, can you give your best guess of what role Cole Strange will play this week? Does he bump Robinson or Brown or act as a backup? We have seen how well things go when you move guys around on the line. Frankly, I'm always dubious of guys coming back from a patellar injury. In the spirit of the Great White Snark, I predict the narrative on Cole Strange be that he would have been good if not for that patellar tendon injury. Paul seemed to be the first one to acknowledge that he hasn't even been a good guard, really, hence them drafting 3 guards in the last 2 drafts. Do you think he's a center moving forward?
It sounds like it. I mean, I would say. I mean, Evan will tell you too. Evan asked him directly, like, "What are you even playing?" And he said center. I'm kind of with what Paul said. I think he's going to be a center. And it doesn't make sense to me to say this, but like Ben Brown plays a couple series, gets like, you get that initial part of the game out of the way, and then you put Strange in and see how he does. That to me, it doesn't make sense to start Strange right out of the chute. I mean, that seems like asking a lot of him, especially, on the road where it's even harder with the noise and all the things that go on the center. And I just don't want to see them go to Arizona and say, well, we really want to get a look at Cole Strange at center, and then it like severely hampers the offense early on because he's new to this. I mean, he's never played center in an NFL game before. He's never played a game in this offense before. All those things that will come into it. So I think Ben Brown for a little bit, and then a sprinkling of Strange. I don't know how much it'll be, but that's what I think. But even that is hard to really wrap your head around. Like, okay, Ben, good job, you're out now. Cole, here we go. Don't screw it up. Like we got a 7-point lead right now or something like that.
So Jerod Mayo's press conference today, I assume you were at it.
Of course.
From what he said, what do you think he thinks the chances are against the Cardinals this week?
Who, like chances to win?
Yeah.
You mean? Yeah. I think that these guys work so hard, and I heard this from some of the players too. Like, I think they believe in themselves, and I think that they really believe that if we just play our best game and we all play well and we play together, that we can beat anybody. I think they really, truly do believe that, and I'd say Jerod probably believes that too. It's just, I think probably the question is really, can we execute? Can we execute for 60 minutes? Can we, in the big moments, make all the right decisions from the coaching staff right down to the players, and can we make the big plays when the game is on the line? And I mean, I think Drake May gives you some confidence that you have the quarterback to do that, and I think that that's something that hasn't really existed the last few years around here. But at the same time, you also have to have the weight of the season weighing on you and saying, God, this game we did this, and this game, we had a chance, but then we screwed it up doing this, and all those things they're not in the front of your mind, but they're in the back of your mind. And once they start to happen, you realize we're not playing our perfect game right now. Like, we got to turn it around, and then it starts to snowball. So I think they still believe in themselves, but it's just you're going to have to fight through some adversity in these games to really prove it and get wins.
Yep.
And these are teams that all really need the win too. So, usually I always default to who needs this game more. Bottom line, who needs this game more right now? And I would say mostly that's usually the team that wins. And going from here on out, except for maybe the last one, the other team's probably going to need it more than the Patriots do.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that a coach who is a young coach like Jerod Mayo, and then a report comes out that, he's being evaluated, his job depends on blah, blah, blah. Do you think that that helps the team say, you know what, we got to help our coach out. We can't let our coach down.
That's a good point, Fred. I think that's kind of a positive that you can see. I think, maybe we'll see. I mean, it seems like they're kind of feeling like they need to rally around him a little bit. But again, I've seen these seasons go so many times, and it's just really hard, especially at this point in the year, to pull it all together and suddenly do something you haven't really done. You're usually going to default back to what you've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking on Twitter to see if anybody had any update about Bill. It's people are starting to say it's
a done deal.
It's
Yeah.
close to being a done deal, but I haven't seen anybody inside Carolina, UNC finalizing deal to land Bill Belichick as new football coach. But I don't think yet anybody has said it's done. But certainly looks like it's trending that way.
So who do you think the staff is if this happens?
Well, we were thinking about it because if the reports are true, part of Bill's demands are that they hire a GM who handles the recruiting part of it, and that this GM would require a buyout.
Oh.
So he said. So the way it was in the report, it's confusing. It says a sitting GM who would require a buyout. There's two ways to look at that. So this person would be our GM, and if you want to get rid of him, you have to give him a buyout, or it's someone who already has a job that we need to buy out to get him here.
That's how
I think it's.
that's how
I think that's
Fred
what
and I
think
look at
it
it the
is.
same way.
That's what I think it is.
That there's somebody out there that wants to be the GM, and you're going to have to buy him out to get him. I take that as being Bears Nigerian, who's at BC with
Okay.
Bill O'Brien.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
Yep.
No, as with most things with me, no information whatsoever.
Well, as a college football ignoramus, would Bears' position require a buyout as what is he, director of football operations or something?
Yeah, my guess is he signed a contract to do that. Yeah. But do I know that?
Anyone
Nope.
else you could think of? I mean, it's hard to say an NFL GM or somebody who's connected to the NFL is going to be bought out, right? Like that doesn't make sense, right?
I think any and all options are open.
Does he still do all the TV shows, or do all those just end now?
But and Evan's here, but before, but a buyout usually the employee gets the money, but in this case, BC would have to get bought out. How does that work?
No, you have to pay you have to pay them to go away, right? So if he's gonna leave,
right,
then he has to buy out his contract. So the school's gonna have to buy out the contract to let the guy leave.
No, that's if the
Yes.
school wants to get rid of him.
No.
Yes.
Freddie, if he's under contract, he can't leave.
Right.
Unless you pay for him, then you give him permission to go.
You give him permission, but you don't have to give him money.
You don't give the person money.
Right. That's
the
what
school.
I'm saying. Yeah. But that's what
Fred, like when
UNC
Lincoln
would
Riley
have to
left
pay
Oklahoma, USC had to pay Oklahoma to get Lincoln Riley. It's a buyout. That's how buyouts
That's what I'm
work.
asking. Okay. That's what I'm trying to clear up. So when I said in this case, you pay BC.
Yeah. North Carolina.
I mean,
plays BC.
again, I'm I'm making a leap here.
Yeah,
I think he's talking about Bears.
Yeah, no. Let whoever it is.
Yeah,
guy.
If
works,
someone is under contract somewhere, the North Carolina is going to have to pay that school money to get that person to come to North Carolina.
Right.
That's how I took it.
Okay.
It might not be the way it is.
Yeah.
But that's how I took it.
All right. Evan's here. Hello.
Happy birthday, Mr.
Evan has returned from practice. Evan has returned from practice. Yeah,
I'll allow it. That was
has
good.
returned from practice. What was the mood? Who wasn't there? What did he see?
Is today your birthday?
It is today.
Oh wow!
Yes.
Did they sing "Happy Birthday" in the bubble for you?
Absolutely not.
No,
no.
Like they
no.
used to do with Tom Brady.
No, they no.
Did
Maybe
they
to Jacoby.
Did they,
though.
I was going to ask, did they sing it for
Maybe. Yeah.
for somebody else?
Yeah.
No?
There's
So-
actually 3 people in the organization that have a birthday today.
Evan's back from the waste management field house.
Yes.
Where the Patriots were practicing in full pads
In
today.
full pads.
So
yes.
how was that experience?
It was fantastic. I'm still soaked somehow from walking through
The
the
roof
park.
isn't working?
No, it's it's raining very hard.
Yeah.
and it's very windy out there today.
Yeah.
Today as well.
It's like a nor'easter.
Yeah. So this was walking through the parking lot. Even was you're getting soaked and definitely not. I don't even know what you would accomplish in a football practice being out in these conditions, because I know some people will say,
Why aren't they out looking
Yeah. What happens if it rains in Arizona in a dome on Sunday, and then they have to deal with that, So
I think they need to work on the more finer points of football right now than rather the conditions.
yeah, it's you couldn't do anything out there today if you tried.
Yeah. So tell us about what you saw.
So 2 absences at practice. I would say Marcus Jones and Javon Baker are those absences. And then there's something going around the locker room, illness wise. I don't want to speculate what that illness is, but we've seen some masks. We saw some guys not practicing today that weren't on the injury report as far as we know. So it definitely seems like it's more skewed to defense It seems like, but there definitely is some sort of bug going around the locker room.
I blame Mike. You
When I was sick,
came
like,
in,
3
you got
weeks ago.
sick, and you got everybody
Like
sick.
that.
Yeah.
And now it's spreading.
So my feeling about Arizona has gone down a notch.
I had the same thought. Yeah.
It's probably, if you're going out
It's
Friday
cracking
though,
me
you
up.
get some of that desert dry air. It's good for the
Yeah,
Guys are
maybe
wearing
that'll
masks
help.
at practice.
But you
Oh,
know,
there
it's
goes
one of
the
those
chances.
situations, Mike, where you walk into that locker room today. Like 10 guys got masks on. You can tell something's going around, and you're like, "Do you really want to be in here today?" Right? Like it's.
I know.
Just thinking about myself selfishly. I don't need to be,
Sure.
getting sick
someone's
either.
gotta
You
do
got to
it.
get
Right.
on a plane with all of them in
Yeah,
about 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. But those two guys were absent. No word yet on why they were absent, but illness going around. So that's maybe one theory.
Okay. And like we said, full pads.
Full pads.
Coming off the bye, was there players upbeat? Did they seem like they recharged their batteries?
A little bit. I would say a little bit. I think guys actually really enjoy practicing inside. I think it's a reprieve for them in a lot of ways, being up
nice
here
and warm.
in New England, whether it's rain, it's cold, whatever, to have a day to practice in there. There always seems to be good juice in there, and you can blare the music, so it's, the music's really loud, and it always feels a little bit more lively when we're inside for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So.
And in terms of the media,
Yes.
today's Chick-fil-A day.
Chick-fil-A
So
day.
that
big contingent.
bumped up the
Big
mood, right?
contingent. We were
Yeah, a lot of people.
Obviously, a lot of talk about Bill around the media circles. Our
Oh,
guy,
yeah?
our guy Cam, who just graduated from North Carolina, had his 2 cents about it, which was interesting. And
Is he happy?
He was lukewarm, I think. I don't want to speak for him, but he was thought it was cool to get such a big name potentially. But I think he has his concerns about the
Kind of like Drake.
the football side of it.
Yeah.
A little bit. But yeah, it was that was definitely the talk, and a lot of conversation from a Big J journalist perspective. And no offense to Inside Carolina, but like, do you run with this report from Inside Carolina as fact that he has gotten the job?
We've had at least one insider on the show from North Carolina say.
How do you know that's not the guy who runs Inside Carolina?
Could be that
Yeah.
that they're going to make an announcement
Shortly.
today.
Imminent.
I believe it. I just, do you? It's not a Adam Schefter. It's not a Pete
Right.
Thamel, who's the college football Adam Schefter.
Yep.
It's
The
somebody
closest one I've seen is
local.
Diana Rossini. She's been the only one that said it's almost done.
There you
Oh,
go.
Almost.
Yeah, everybody keeps saying it's almost done.
What's the holdup?
You're almost pregnant.
Yeah. So.
There's no such thing. It's either done or it's not. And you know who taught me that? Bill.
Yeah. Right.
I've seen these things. And how many times he goes like, I've
Sure.
seen him. You're talking to the guy. You think you have it, and it's not quite done, and it's not done, and then it doesn't get done.
Right.
It's not done until it's done.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
back,
when he used to get mad at Felger
Yep.
for
Back-
reporting on free agent signings.
back to practice. Did you get to see more than stretching? Any?
A little bit. We did see one period of positional drills. I would say during that period, Ben Brown was at center with the rest of the starting offensive line. They didn't actually get into formation with all 5 guys, but they were working some combo block drills and things like that, so you could kind of glean that he was the one snapping the ball at center. So Cole Strange was watching behind him, and I just find that whole thing to be a little interesting, just because you have this rookie quarterback who's been playing great, and I do worry about switching the center on him a little bit this late in the season, and how many snaps has he actually taken from Cole Strange, and does that eliminate under center snaps, because those are definitely the harder ones, I would say, than the shotgun snaps, and so does that eliminate that part of the playbook now that you can't go under center because Strange and Drake May aren't ready? Then there's a lot of communication that goes on between those two guys to get the mic points set and all that kind of stuff.
On the road too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's a lot of. I'm always just very wary of changing anything on Drake. Like, he's playing so great that I just don't want to touch anything and have it be a house of cards and then it all comes crashing down.
That's a fair point.
Probably the last thing Cole Strange needs too. Is
I
to
could
go in there
definitely
and
go on the other side.
bad snaps.
expose them to as many different things as you can in these games when there's not the pressure to win is not necessarily there.
Everything's an opportunity to learn.
Yeah, that's why, one of Mike's things that he hammers home is like, I want to see him play Miami down in Miami. I want to see him go to Buffalo. I think there's value in that.
Yeah.
Experiencing as many different scenarios. That's why I think it's great that they're probably going to have 3 bad weather games to close the year. This obviously won't be one of them.
Yeah.
But when you have at Buffalo and then 2 home games to end it, you're probably going to have 3 bad weather games. It might. I mean, I know. Bear with me, Ev.
Uh-oh.
He might not play as well
Oh,
in some of those
okay.
games.
Let's
but
not get carried away.
But I said he might.
He's got a great arm. He's a big kid.
I think he's
He'll
built
be
for
fine.
it. I do.
Yeah.
I think he's built for the weather. I think just like Josh Allen in Buffalo, I think he's built for bad weather games.
Yeah, but he played in Wyoming.
Right. I get that. But now you get a chance to see if he can do it.
pretty
Know
sure
what
Wyoming
you're
is a
dealing
dome.
with. No,
Oh, is
it's
it?
not.
It's
It is
not?
not.
Oh.
No, there's one in Idaho. I think you're probably thinking of.
Okay.
Steel trap.
There's one in Idaho. It was on your way to your
Maybe
Dave
I'm thinking
Matthews
of the
concert. You
Fargo
went by that one.
The Vandals.
We were talking about this
The
earlier.
Idaho Vandals.
With
Yeah.
Jerod saying, I'm going to play the young guys, see how they're doing, see who's going to be here. Do you think that affects the way he coaches these games in terms of rotations and things like that? Might we see a little bit where the emphasis isn't on winning, it's about getting certain guys reps?
I could
and
definitely.
who are those guys?
I could definitely see that at the skill positions because I think those are the easiest positions to rotate. I would assume, we talked about it a little yesterday, that Alex Austin and Isaiah Bolden will continue to get some run at corner over maybe, a Jonathan Jones, Marcus Jones, if he's not available, will certainly make that more of a possibility. And I'd say the same thing at receiver, with Polk, assuming Baker's okay, with Javon Baker. He did downplay doing that on the offensive line this morning, though, and he said that they're, really harping a lot on continuity up front and having the same 5 guys, and to kind of commit to a rotation to get, Robinson and Strange and maybe City So and all these guys opportunities. Caden Wallace, when he comes back, he didn't really sound too gung-ho about it being on the line. So my guess is it won't be the offensive line, but we could see that everywhere else.
Okay. And you think, would that frustrate you that, every decision being made in these games isn't with the end goal of winning it?
No, it doesn't frustrate me too much because frankly, I don't think there's like a huge drop-off in a lot of these positions from some of these guys to another guy. So I don't think anybody's suggesting that they're going to bench Christian Gonzalez to play Alex Austin anymore.
Right.
So it's like I don't think that that's where it's headed. But the offensive line thing does interest me, shocker, a lot, because Cole Strange probably should be a part of your future somewhere on the offensive line, but you have a lot of guards, and you like Layden Robinson on when he was more comfortable at guard. Ben Brown's probably not your starter of the future, but is Cole Strange, a center? Is he a guard? Where do you play him, and how much does that mess with the thing they got going on now offensively with Drake and everything that's been happening with Ben Brown in the starting lineup? So I think that's a difficult one to manage in this situation, especially because it's center in particular. If it was tackle or guard, I would be less worried about switching those guys in and out.
Yeah. And then finally, we have at least one writer who critiques you on your inconsistent use of the word Toyota, your pronunciation of it.
Yeah, I get this a lot.
You're a car guy, too. I was surprised
So what's
by
going
this.
on there? What the Toyota? Where does that come from?
I don't know. It's just how I say it.
Yeah.
He laid it all out, too. He's like, sometimes he'll say Toyota right, but then the next two
You
will
say
be
it 3
Toyotas.
times in a read, and twice you say Toyota, and the other time you say Toyota.
This is not something that I care about.
But why do you do it?
Evidently, it doesn't matter what you think.
Yeah.
Fred is intrigued.
Okay, that's fair, and I'm sure Kenny and they're probably mad at me for saying it wrong in the read, so I'll do better about that. What's the correct pronunciation?
Toyota.
Toy, like Toy Story.
Toyota.
Yeah.
Toy.
Toy. You don't say tie.
Toyota.
Yeah. When you were a kid, you didn't get ties for for Hanukkah. You got
Nice.
toys, right?
Toyota.
Toyota, right?
Toy.
Like
a toy.
Boy toy.
Toyota.
Boy toy. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. Hey, Patriots fans, if you want to see Toyota's best offers, including those not seen on TV, go to buytoyota.com. It's Toyota's official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots. Toyota, let's go.
That
And
was right.
Sounded like right.
That's good. That's
That's
what the guy said the first 2 times,
What-
and then the
what's
last time it's Toyota.
I
You
don't
say it
see-
right the last time.
I don't see the problem.
How does your dad feel about
I
this
mean,
as a
it's
car
just
guy?
He had a Toyota once upon a time too, an Avalon.
And I'm willing to change.
It's a great car.
If someone wants to give me one.
Good luck with
Just,
that.
just saying.
He's still
You're
riding.
still
that
working
thing.
on that?
No.
Didn't you get an update on that though? Like, wasn't someone take a look
update?
at it for you? Something recently? Oh no, you had to get some work done, right?
Yeah, but that was TJ's car.
Oh yeah, right.
Got
right,
the
right.
brakes done yesterday.
That was good.
James Pettigrew says, my main frustration with Cole Strange is we have a Pro Bowl level tight end being miscast as a lineman. When will people wake up?
Oh
Ah,
jeez.
ah.
I don't think he.
So
can.
he's saying
don't get it.
Cole Strange should be a tight end?
Oh.
Well, that might be next if it doesn't work out for me.
Oh.
We have breaking Red Sox news.
Oh, what do we got?
The Red Sox are finalizing a trade to acquire left-hander Garrett Crochet
nice.
from the Chicago White Sox.
Nice.
A real baseball trade.
A
Paulie.
trade.
There we go.
That's good news.
That's an actual
Good pitcher.
player. Good pitcher.
He's a good young pitcher.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they gave up any of the guys in the minors. Which one?
Okay.
I
Did you
think,
give up Casas for him?
major league guy. Maybe
I would.
Marcelo Meyer.
Duran?
Oh, I hope not.
Fred would be in.
What's that?
Jaron Duran?
Oh wow! So they Kyle Teal is the big piece
Ooh.
in the trade, who is their top catching prospect in the minors that a lot of people think is gonna be really good in the pros. So
How is their farm system right now?
really good now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they've rebuilt it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing.
He can't even feign interest.
It's the one thing Chaim Bloom did correctly, Mike.
No, I've actually heard that. I have.
Yeah.
I pick up enough.
You pick in the
nuggets
top
to,
5 every year. You should be able to get some prospects.
I picked up enough nuggets to ask questions that are topical.
That was a good one. That's a good question.
How is the prospects? How are they?
You know what though? That's a real baseball trade for
It
the
is.
local 9. So
It
good
is.
for them.
Damien
Well,
is in
evidently. Milliken's all excited.
Milliken's real pumped. You can tell. Good for him.
Damien is from Melbourne, Australia, listening to the show every week and been doing so for about 8 years. Interesting story for Fred. Back in 2019, I was over in Nashville working and attending the Extreme Networks user conference, and it included a tour of Nissan Stadium, followed by dinner and drinks. One of the special guests that was interviewed by the MC was none other than Fred Kirsch. Disappointingly, I didn't get a chance to say hello afterwards, as I assume he headed straight back to his private jet to fly back to New England.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, I remember that.
I actually remember you doing that. I
Wait, you
wasn't
did?
there.
Come in late.
I
you
wasn't
came
there.
in just for the
Well,
game.
why would
right?
you be there?
No, I'm saying I remember you having to go to
Yeah.
Tennessee to do that. I
Right.
do.
Yeah, I remember too.
Was that for training
Well,
camp?
you did it.
No, it was for a partner, that tech partner.
Oh,
they actually put in our Wi-Fi.
He's so
years
mean
ago,
to me. Like I'm trying to pump him up.
back in
It's mad. at me.
2013.
By
or
the way,
whatever
these
it
two
is.
guys swore today. Both of them.
Both of you.
I used the S word.
Oh, that's not a swear.
Did I
He
know.
used the bull S word.
Oh,
Bull
that
S.
is that
The
might
other
be
guy.
a
The
swear.
other guy.
Wash my mouth.
Oh
out.
wow, guys are fired up in here today, huh?
Oh yeah, about the proper pronunciation of OUR.
Not Toyota.
I played it for him.
That's what we do.
He goes, "That's wrong."
You said he would.
Hour. It's like that's some AI nonsense.
Matt and Devin, UK. Paul said on Tuesday that he likes a bit of caller on caller crime. So with that in mind, next time Willem and Philem calls, can you pretend that you're not home?
Wow.
I'm pretty sure that he doesn't even realize that he's called, and then when Fred answers, he thinks up a really random and pointless subject that he then just argues with himself about.
Oh,
he
man.
really doesn't bring anything to the table of any relevance. On a positive note, give me more Eldred of North Carolina. Love me some wide receivers. P.S. The pick segment is the best part of the week.
I like William, but I know what he's saying because I love when William calls like it's like he's been waiting, and then he gets on the line, and then I feel like it's like he's charging his battery to unleash. Like
Yeah.
he knows what he wants to
He's
say.
so
but,
frustrated.
You know, I
and he
just
can't get it all out.
I can't even write it. Like he's holding it back, and then he lets it all fly. So I like him. He's a good call.
Yeah, Willem and Philem's good.
Good call. I like our callers. I like our listeners in general.
We got to do our thing this off season though, right? We're gonna do the
Face.
we can
Put a
start-
face with the name.
yeah, face with the name of the callers. We gotta work on that.
That would be good.
It's a bit.
Yep.
Who is this guy? I don't know. Todd in North Carolina. All right. You know.
Yeah. Sure. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. Do we have the playbook coming up? Okay. Playbook coming up next. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. Catch 22's tomorrow at 2.
2 to 4.
2 or so. Yep.
Got to hurry. Full slate of games.
Got to
picks.
hurry. Yep.
Have a full slate this week.
And any preview on the picks? Like any just 50,000 view? Big week?
Have not tabulated it yet, so I do not have the answer to that.
Good week for Mike straight up, but very, very middling on the
It seemed
spread.
like there weren't a tremendous amount of upsets, so my guess is everybody did reasonably well.
Yeah. Okay.
Spread's tough.
I had some courageous picks, one of which I was wrong on. All right. We will
Courageous.
see you tomorrow.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.